Donny, welcome to the Granite Zero
I'm
podcast.
in.
We're in.
Welcome, mate. Thanks very much for having me on.
No, thanks very much for putting yourself out there. It's a weird concept.
Totally. I when we got chatting and texting, I was like, everyone on it. Obviously, I'm an ex-vet, or I'm a vet.
No,
We both served together, and I was like, I don't want to go on and speak about the military because
no.
I've been out so long, and like so many guys are like up to date with what's happening now. Like, even though it's
Yeah,
not
I
as
know
fucking good
exactly
as
what
what
you're
we
saying,
had it.
mate.
And I was like, but what? And I was like, but I did a thing on Facebook a few years ago,
Yeah,
quite a few years ago, where I was like, I offered what I was doing now. I was like at an early stage, and
yeah, yeah.
I post. I got to the in touch with the Rocket page, and I was like, went to the admin and said, "Here, I've got something that could help some guys." Do you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like maybe who are a bit lost with training, want to get a bit fitter. And it was really raw, and I was just like, and I got a few guys on board, like quite a few. I say, quite surprised me how many guys were interested for free,
Oh, that's good.
just
Yeah, yeah.
like I want to help, I want to help.
Yeah,
Looking back at it now, I'm like, God, it was so raw back then. Like
mm.
probably the same as your podcast. Everything's just like really raw when you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
started, but you want to get going.
You probably didn't get the backlash like I did when I set up this, though.
Oh, right. But
Yeah,
then
mate.
you chat to everyone, don't you? You chat to like
Yeah, yeah. I don't really
all walks.
specify. Like my brother sort of guided me. Really, he was like, "You don't want to be just military veterans podcast, because
Yeah.
there's loads of those, and you'll find that you'll end up talking about the same stuff
Mm-hmm.
constantly." And
Yeah.
and then I started then getting quite a few MMA guys on, and it was literally one after the other, and it was like, hold on, I'm now turning into a fucking MMA podcast. I don't know that much about it. This like,
Yeah.
and then I was just like, what about just regular people? Like,
Yeah.
some of the
Totally.
best people I've had conversations with, they might not have got the views or the notoriety that, you know, someone with a blue tick will get,
Yeah.
but
Fucking pissed me
it's
off
fucking
that.
brilliant. And as you probably know, I started this to help with my fucking noggin. My noggin was all over the shop. And that's why I got a
Yeah.
lot of shit, because I was quite open saying, look, I'm struggling. I've got
Yeah.
what I've got. And then when I did that, it was, how can you have that? You were in the RAF Reg. You're
Yeah.
giving the RAF Reg a bad name. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not going to stop. So,
Yeah. Fair one. Yeah.
as you know from serving with me, I was always a bit of a gobshite anyway. So you're not going to shut me up
No,
that
well,
easily.
yeah. Quite, yeah, totally. But yeah. So like, so same as me. Like once I got out and stuff, it was like before I got out, it was like I was a fit guy. I wanted to
Yeah, yeah.
do something. I wanted to, and like, you know me. I was a sniper commander. It was like, what am I taking on to Civvy Street? Fucking hell!
It's hard, isn't it?
Like you find out the hard way when you're leaving that none of your qualifications that you do
Yeah, yeah.
mean nothing in Civvy Street. And it was like, well, what
Especially
am I
with a
going to do?
niche thing like that. Like,
Yeah. And there's like
I always thought, because,
there was guys going CP and stuff, and it was
yeah, yeah,
like, yeah, but it's all. But it was like that's. I went out the military because I want away. I want a break.
yeah.
I want to get away from like the lifestyle we had, away all the time, like
Yeah,
on
that's it.
exercise or overseas, doing the job, and it was stressful. And
Yeah,
like at the time, it was like I just literally put the foot on the brake and went, I've had enough.
mm.
Like
No, I totally get
what?
that.
Like I was kind of knocked back as well because I was like, I wanted promotion, and I got told it would be the next, and I was like, well, if I don't get
Yeah,
promotion right now, I'm out. And I was like, I left a little bit bitter
mm.
just because of
Yeah,
just because of the frequency and like
yeah,
the speed of everything. It was like you're here, you're there, you're doing
yeah.
this, you're doing that, you're away all the time, like it says. And then as soon as I like put the foot down and went, I'm going, and I got out, it was then like, oh, ops stopped and tempo slowed down.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
you
I
speak to
know
guys now, I'm
exactly what
like,
you're saying.
I still keep in touch with some guys who are still in, like
Yeah,
who I joined up with, and I'm like, holy shit, if I just passed the 22-year point there
yeah.
in September, and I'm like, I could have been like 22 years in,
There's
and
a
like,
few lads that obviously I went through basics with, and there's a few that were on squadron that were, well, fucking sprogs when I was there,
yeah,
and they're all fucking corporal, sergeant. Like, my main man Burrows is a sergeant, and I was the one that talked him out PVRing. I said, "Don't PVR, mate. Well, that's the worst thing you'll do." And then I ended up doing it. It was like,
yeah.
but
But it was like,
very similar to you, my man. Like,
I had that conversation like the other day actually when because somebody that I trained was on about. Got friends in the military, and said that the whole retention bonus.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I told the story about when I was in when they started the retention bonus to
Mm.
keep guys in. I remember we were at Sennybridge at the time in Brecon, and they came in to do this talk. We got pulled off the training area just to get come and do this brief, and it was like, if you stay on to this point, you get this many £1,000. If you stay at this point, you get this many. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember being one of the first guys in the auditor, like seated area where we're sitting, and I was like, "Fucking sign me up, because I'm a lifer." Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
yeah,
like that is easy money.
yeah.
Sign me
I
up.
was back fucking same. I was always going to be a lifer. I was always going to be the one that stayed on. I started getting the because I was similar to you, apart from I came off my FT1 injured. I fucking done both my ankle ligaments.
Yeah.
On a fucking on an exercise. I rolled one ankle, stepped forward and rolled the other one. I was like, I'm fucking hanging out here. But I thought I've got to keep going, and I got sent to the med centre, and they went, these are some of the weakest ankles I've seen for someone who isn't a paratrooper. And I was like, oh, that's good. Which I then figured out later on in life after talking to my old man that it's hereditary. Like his ankles are shit. But he
Yeah.
he was a PJI for 22 years. He was a jump
Mhm.
instructor.
Yeah.
He almost never got that career because he went to the med centre and they went, your ankles are shit, and he went, I'm doing it anyway, basically.
Yeah.
So I missed out on that, and then I went off to Bastion. But before then, I've already put my papers in because every time I tried to step away and do something different, whether it was because I was a comms guy, so
Yeah.
because I was good at it, I got pigeonholed into you're staying there because you've got something that we need.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you can't stop my career because I'm good at comms. Surely you want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
further
Yeah.
my career. It's like, no,
Mhm.
you stay on HQ. It's like, oh, okay, 7 clicks. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
plus
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a family then as well. I had my wife and firstborn, and just that tour of fucking Bastion. I was like, I've made the right decision here. I came home
Yeah.
and my fucking eldest didn't know who I was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I came through the hangar thinking she's going to run into my arms. It's going to be a big daddy daughter embrace. I've got a photo where it looks like that, but
Mm-hmm.
it was
I've
not
seen
that.
that. I think that's so. It was a publicity shot photograph. Was that the
Yeah,
right
yeah,
one?
it was like
Yeah.
a
I see.
nice
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
photo of me and my nipper, and then
Yeah.
it was like she didn't know who I was. It was like, who's this
Yeah.
stranger in the
Yeah.
house that hasn't been here for 7 months? It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
because I had a shit R&R as well that tour.
Yeah.
Specifically asked for because there's not many on HQ. I went, can I have the middle of the fucking tour so I can do half, and then I've got half to then finish up, and it's
Yeah. We do. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no problem, Tommo, no problem. How's Christmas for you? That's at the start of the tour. Well, that's what you've got. I thought you might want to go home for Christmas. In
Mm-hmm.
the end, didn't even get Christmas. Fucking 10th of December, I fucking had to fly back. I was like, I
Yeah.
haven't even got Christmas, and now I've got because it was a longer tour. It was slightly longer than the
Yeah.
6 months. So I was like, I've literally still got 6 months left now. Cheers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fucking, and it's stressful in HQ. I don't think people realise. They think it's all fucking easy.
Yeah.
When you're in that hot seat, horrible.
I can imagine, mate. I can imagine. Yeah. But
Unreal.
yeah, so like we'll go back. So like yeah, the stresses of the whole made me want to like rethink what I wanted to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Say was really into my fitness, as like most you're
Yeah,
like well, guys go one way or the other, don't they? So we get
yeah, yeah.
thrashed and then so you're always fizzing,
Yeah,
and you either fucking hate it and you don't want to fizz again when you get out, or you love it.
yeah,
And like I wouldn't say I love it, but it was just
yeah.
I liked it.
I
You know
know
what I mean?
exactly what you mean because when I left, I was still relatively quite a fit guy. I started doing a few boot camps and things like that, as running them
Yeah,
with another
I
guy.
started with doing shit like
Yeah,
that as
I
well. Yeah.
fucking loved it, and then COVID sort of hit, and then it stopped, and then I just got up, mate. I'm not going to lie to you. I was so fucking lazy. And it wasn't until it all started getting back to normal, and I was like, right, I got to fucking sort my life out. I fucking stepped on the scales, and I was like, fucking hell, Tommo, how has this happened? You're 5'6", and you're literally built like a melted ice cream. Sort your life out. And now, because I've let myself go that much, it's so
I
much
did. I
harder
did
to
keep. I
get.
did. I wish I brought my book. I'd have written that one down. You've got use it like that's a great way to put. You're built like a fucking melted ice cream.
Yeah, well, it's fucking it. I've got a picture because I'm still trying to get through all this fucking extra blubber that I've got. I'm working hard now. There's a photo of me in our last charity football match that I did, and I'm turning to run for the ball, and we're wearing an all white kit, and I
Yeah,
genuinely look like the fucking Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I'm like, what is that? I went,
quite harsh
no.
on yourself
The
there.
next
Very
two
harsh.
fucking games we got, there's no chance I'm looking like that in a photo.
Oh,
But it's like because I've got to that age now where it all seems to just stick. Like previously, if I put on weight, I could lose it like that. Like I'd
yeah.
hit the gym, do some boxing, all that sort of thing, and it just fucking fall off. Now it's like, hey, you fucking kidding, pal?
I mean, it's so the way like just going staying on that. It's like even like the
Yeah,
way like I work with people now, like one to one, online, all that sort of stuff. It's like when you were just saying that, like some people, it's like not everyone, but when you're saying like you sometimes see with clients that come in and they're like overweight,
yeah,
they
yeah,
want to do something,
yeah.
they're
Of
making a
course.
move, and you get moving with them. Course they do stuff and like they shift a bit of weight or whatever. But when you're saying that there, it just brought back that whole. I remember like there was guys who used to say over who would pile on weight and leave,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
would literally be you come back off leave or you get lazy
yeah,
between tours, and guys would literally go, "Bosh!" In a matter of weeks, they'd be fucking thin again,
yeah, yeah,
running
yeah.
5 minute
Madness.
miles. So you'd be like, "How?" And you're like, "How the fuck did the guy drink at the weekend as well?" And
Yeah,
not exactly the healthiest lifestyle,
it's
but you
not
would just be told.
functioning
But we were just
alcoholics.
told. But then the difference with this was you just go like, Thompson, you're fucking overweight. Get down the gym every morning,
Yeah,
every
yeah,
lunchtime, every fucking night. You'd be 3 times a day sometimes. You could be fizzing.
yeah. You get fucking thrashed,
And
mate.
it was like fucking paid the fizz. Is it no
Yeah,
wonder guys drop weight? Like, do
yeah.
you know
I
what I mean?
know.
And like, I even thought that I even found the same mate when I got out. You put on the weight and you think I tell this story to a lot of people, but I used to run when I was at Lossiemouth. Guy with Ali Beer, we did a little challenge like to try and run 1,000 miles in 6 months between us
Oh yeah.
together. So we were doing like 10 miles Monday, Friday, 6 milers on a Wednesday, sort of whatever in between. But I
Mm.
remember when I got out, I tell this story to people. Like I was running down the road one day doing a 10 miler, and I just was like, got a few miles into it, and I just stopped, and I was like, "Fuck, am I doing? Like, I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to do this anymore."
Yeah.
Like, there was a purpose back then for like
Yeah,
why we
yeah.
ran and why we did it, and like I was still keeping up the same. And then I slipped out of it, like what I presume a lot of guys would do, slipped out of it,
Oh
and you
yeah.
lose it a little bit, and then even for the last 10 years, I would say like now I'm a lot more mature, a lot more like mindset aware of my
Yeah, yeah.
fitness and like I'm nowhere near as fit as I used to be. But I don't really bother about that now because it's more
Yeah,
like
you
but
got to
then I
realize
think of
you're
things like
not the same
I
person.
think yeah, and I sometimes think like we all do. Like I sometimes think, see if I took my mindset now and the way I think back then, fuck me,
Yeah,
I'd have been unstoppable. I'd have been fitter.
yeah, definitely.
I'd have been more like specific with my training. I'd have
Yeah.
been, and that's a thing that we can talk about in a bit. But it's like I thought when we were in, there was no guidance to fitness. It was
No.
literally like, get fit to do this, get fit
Yeah.
to do that. No guidance. It was just like get fit. How? Just fucking
There was
run,
no
lift some weights.
there was no sort of there was no specific training. It was
No,
like, right, you've got battle
it was
PT
like
today. It's
it
like,
was like I
okay.
know you joined up a few years after me, but our basic training was all about if you're fucking fit, you pass.
Mm,
And it was like put this. It was like to start with clean fatigue, get the trainers on. We're going for a 6 miler, like
yeah,
also
yeah,
building up the 6 miler. Then it was add weight, add the Bergen. And then it was
yeah.
like, if you fucking got shin splints or knee or ankle injuries, do you mean that? See you later, you're recourse. Like I was lucky. I passed out first time. Do you mean went
Yeah,
straight through?
same.
Basically, didn't get an injury. But when you look back at it, you think
I got an injury.
no one gave a shit about some guys have the fear, like you're probably going to say now, some guys got the fear that you get an injury and you work through it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And some guys would literally go to med centre and you're recourse and
Yeah.
you're like
So
three,
yeah,
4 or 5 months
I was
behind.
that mindset because I had it in my mind. If I got recourse, I ain't fucking. I'm not passing. I'm done.
Same as me,
So
mate. I was the same.
I remember very similar to my FT. I rolled my ankle on one of the speed marches around camp, and I remember doing it, and I was like, "This fucking really hurts." Like I was struggling like fuck. I could see the main pack of the of the platoon going forward, and I was like, I'm gonna get fucking kicked off now. You watch. And I gritted my teeth. I managed to get in just behind them, and I remember it was Sergeant Sims came up to me and he went, "Tommo, fucking good effort." He went, I saw you fucking snap your ankle and you carried on going, fucking good effort. He went, "And you beat these fucking cunts behind you." And I turned around and there was a whole nother section of lads that were behind me that then came through, and I was like, how the fuck have they not overtaken me with
Yeah,
one
yeah,
fucking foot? And I was like, from that moment, I was like, no, I've got this. I remember doing
yeah,
another one on fucking Fieldcraft fucking 2, I think, where I'd done my ankle again. I got sent to the med centre and they fucking take me up and I went, "Are you sure you're right to continue?" I went, "There's no way I'm getting fucking."
yeah,
I went, "Just give me as much tape as you can. I will take these fuckers up."
yeah. I had that sort of like when I joined up, I was like 67 kilos or something. Like I
Yeah,
remember seeing my med record. The only reason I remember is like when I got discharged, when I discharged, and it was just like seeing my med records, and I was like, it's in the graph thing, and I said to the nurse, I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Oh, that's your weight over the years." And I was like, "I joined 67. I
67 kilos.
passed out at 78, and I was like, fucking hell." Do you know what I mean? There's like mental, like that was even that light. But you know what I mean? I was like, I went through training just a lot. Like I'm like you, short, 5'6",
Yeah, yeah.
tiny, 67. Had to put the same Bergens on as everybody else. Found weighted fizz, for instance, really hard.
Yeah,
And
I was the opposite on
like
that.
say, it was
'Cause
kind of like get on with it or fucking
yeah,
see you later. Is
for
it?
me, I was always quite stocky anyway. So when I so this goes way back. Before I joined up, my dad took over a gym in Hereford, and that was when I started putting some size on because I was
Yeah,
training with my brother, and I was like putting some size on. So I was a beanpole, but I was like 5'6", 5'7". I've definitely shrunk, by the way, because my fucking Air Force ID says I'm 5'7", and I was like, I measured myself, and I'm like,
so
how am
does
I
mine.
five
So
six?
does mine.
When does that happen?
Mine says
But
171 centimeters. My fucking
yeah,
ID
yes,
says
spot the same.
171.
I'm one
Um,
six nine now somehow.
I think admin just do that to make it feel better.
Yeah, made you feel better. But yeah, I was built like a fucking like a fucking beanpole, and my brother went, right, just get on some weights, put some size. I ended up putting on about 2 stone, and I remember going for basic training. I remember doing all the speed marches because they make you do a little loaded one, don't they, just to get you used to it on the PGAC.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah,
I smashed that, and then it got to the bleep test, and I remember getting I passed it, but I think I only got like 10-1 or something like that, and I was like, that's the worst I've ever done on a bleep test. So throughout my secondary school and things like that, it was like a given for the rugby team. You had to get level
yeah,
13 or whatever. So I used to be really good at it, and then all of a sudden I'm not, but I can carry fucking weight. I remember getting on
yeah,
fucking basics, and I was always sort of mid pack for the runs. When it was like clean fatigue runs, I was like, oh, I'm fucking awful at this.
yeah.
Haven't got the stride length. As soon as they
I
put
wasn't.
fucking weight on me, I was like, that yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me walk
I
for
wasn't. I
days.
wasn't the best. I wasn't the best clean fatigue runner either. Like I was always middle of the pack. Always kind of had to work at my
I found
fitness.
being sort of middle of the pack and sort of a grey man throughout basics was the best way to be. I remember that was probably the advice that my dad gave me. He went, "Don't stand out."
Yeah,
Yeah, and I was like, "What do you mean?" He went, "With anything." He went, "Even if you're really good at something,
yeah.
try not to stand out because then you make a bit of a target for
I
people." There was one lad.
I stood out in the
Do you
pool
remember
and
Chris
that was one
Dunn?
of
Do
the shit ones.
you remember Chris Dunn? He was on.
Yes, I remember the memory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So he passed out with me on basics, and it wasn't until we got to squadron, and I was like, "Hang on a minute, were we on basic training together?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Why do I not remember you?"
yeah,
He used
yeah.
to go out on the piss all the time, and
Is it,
ironically now he literally lives like 4 doors down from me.
oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple of us that literally live around the corner. As my mate Burrows
Yeah.
calls it, it's the regiment graveyard, is what he calls it. We all got out around about the same sort of time. But yeah, you were
Oh,
spot
mate.
on with what you said about the training when you're actually on squadron. It's not job specific. It's you've just got to be fit, and it's
Yeah,
like Because there's that guy,
Yeah.
isn't there? I can't remember his name. He's a paratrooper bloke. I fucking forgot his name. Coach. I want to say
Oh
Chad
yeah, yeah.
or something like that. Because he
I
does
think
all
it's like
the
Chad. Yeah,
he does all the specific sort of training schedules now, doesn't he? For
yeah, yeah. I know. There's
Paris.
quite a few. Like, yeah, I know who you're on about. I
But they
don't
can't do the
follow him.
5 mile of death though.
Some things like I see a lot of these like ex-military lads that push on
Yeah,
like
so
they
you've
do
got
they
you've got
do
that Coach Chadwick, and you've got
they got
Civi,
stoic conditions, but a big one.
yeah, Civi to Commando is another one.
Right. Okay.
They're quite big, obviously down fucking
Yeah.
southwest. But yeah,
It's
it's
the guy like yeah. I'm not really because with myself. As soon as I kind of like I don't say I don't mention it, but I don't put it on my bios. I don't say
mm,
like I'm ex-military because I think just with over the years, like with these guys, that they're good at what they do, but they're
yeah, yeah.
very military mindset, and it's like some
Yeah, if you're
you're gonna
specific to
get
that, yeah,
yeah
I
you
get it.
get like for me now, it wouldn't be the right clientele for me.
No,
It's
no,
like you get the people that even when I mention I'm ex-military, they think, oh fuck, here we go, we're getting a beast in. He's going to
yeah,
be fucking this, and I'm like, I'm the opposite. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
complete opposite. I'm all for I'm all for the individuality. I'm all for the laid back life. I'm not.
yeah,
I fucking loved it when I was in the shouty and the bullshit and like you got on with it. But even like part of being on snipers, it was like because it was so more chilled and laid back,
yeah,
and like it was a more mature adult sort of environment. I've kind of taken that into like my life now. It's like it's independence. It's like working for yourself, but part of a team,
yeah,
working
yeah.
things
Okay,
out.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Like everything, everybody left you alone because you were that 1% that were different from everyone else. You'd done a course that no one else
Fucking
could do.
everyone loved the sniper section.
That's the only reason I would be. There's like, as soon as you got on unit, you're like, who are these cunts? Like, I want to look like a scruffy fucker. I want to
Yeah,
be left alone.
I would love to do it, but
But
there was no, I could never do it.
did
Genuinely.
you did you? No, I thought about it the other week. Did you come on one of our carders?
Yeah,
If not,
yeah, I did a
you
little.
did. You did. Did I, was
Um,
it one I? It was one that I run. I remember running a carder and they had people on it. Like, do you remember like Di John and stuff,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
No,
like Lee
no,
Ritchie and stuff? They were all on that one.
I did a taster. Um, I think it was just one of the ones where the squadron was bored, and they were like, right, you're going to spend a couple of days with each fucking section, and you got to
Yeah.
learn a little bit about what they do. So you go off and
So
calling
we made you
mortars.
sweep the hangers.
Yeah,
That's what we
but
do.
I'd still remember it now because we did some cool stuff with the snipers where we went out and did some observation stuff and the
Was that
fucking
was that with
yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah, you
Yeah,
were
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
there. There was
yeah,
definitely some Gucci stuff that you did with that. Mortars was pretty good because they had you as a Bravo, so you were calling it in or
yeah.
and whatnot. I remember they got to my because I had to run it, and I was like, "How am I running this?" By the way, where's fucking where's Lewicki and fucking Shep? Why am I fucking doing this? They were, "Oh, Tommo, you're the lead signaler on the you fucking." I was like, "All right, this is a fucking Bowman radio. Well done." What do you want me to do with it?
That's how you turn it on.
Yeah, this is how you turn it on. I'm not going to show you how to fill it because that's my job. Um,
I'm not sure you to fill it. I'm fat.
yeah, yeah. This is how you talk on it.
That's how you
Oh,
talk.
buddy. But yeah, I did. I was attached. Well, I say attached. I did 2 or 3 patrols out in Iraq with the sniper section. Basically, they needed blokes.
That'd have been the tour.
They basically needed me to carry the
Dave
ECM.
shot. We split in half.
Yeah,
Dave Shaw took snipers to Iraq, and I went to
yeah.
Bastion.
You went to Bastion, didn't you? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically,
Remember
they
that? Yeah,
just
because
needed me
like
to fucking carry the ECM. That's basically my job.
oh, you're stalking man. Like get
Yeah,
that weight in his back.
it was
You carry
me
that.
and Willow go and carry the ECM for sniper
Okay.
section. Okay,
What's the heaviest Bergen? That one, right? Tommo.
yeah, Tommo can have that one. Because
Right.
we stitched up Crumpy. We put a big fucking 20 kilo plate in his sniper bag. It was hilarious because
Grumpy.
he was hanging out, mate. He was proper like sluggish on this little fucking tab that we were doing into the open.
How far did he get without?
Oh
me
no,
like,
we got
what
all
did
the
he?
way into the OP, and then he's like sat down and he was like, oh, fuck it. And he opened his bag to get his to get the rifle out and that, and he went, "It's a fucking 20 kilo plate in here, you fucking cunts."
Brilliant.
He fucking left it there as well,
Middle
obviously.
middle of the war zone. Let's fuck about. Like
Yeah, let's fuck about. Why not? Why not?
This fucking absolutely make a man down here.
Yeah, we did do it on a in a Kandahar to Boss Burr as well. We put a big brick in his fucking day sack.
Boss Burr.
Boss
I'm trying to remember
Burr.
who Boss Burr. Boss Burr.
Boss.
Can't remember if I
No,
remember.
he was
I remember the name
no,
Boss Burr.
he wasn't. I think he was ooh, was he a flying officer? He was.
Was
I
he the
don't think
tall
he was a
ginger
fly.
hair? Was he the tall ginger haired guy?
He's really skinny, like he looked like a boy basically, and he was
Was
an
it
ex.
wasn't the boss with a lazy eye?
Oh, he might have been.
Little blonde haired.
Yeah, blonde hair.
Was it the
Used to be
lazy
an
guy?
Oggie. He was an Oggie on 34.
Yeah, had a lazy eye.
Yeah,
Just said this because he was so young looking,
yeah.
and
Tell you what
he
though,
just looked so
he
young, but
was
he
a
was a fit
decent
guy.
boss. He was a decent
He
boss,
was a
but he
fit guy.
was also a dick. So we
Yeah,
stitched him up with a fucking brick in his day sack.
as as most young officers are. I
Oh,
mean,
there was
come out
this.
of
I still
university,
remember one
cram it.
moment. We were about to head out on patrol, and he turns to Shipper, who was driver of the lead vehicle, and he said, "Has anyone got my rifle?" And we looked at him as if to say, "Your rifle?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he went, and then I still remember today. Dan Shipper piped up and went, "You mean your IW, your individual weapon?" And he was like, "Yeah, did anyone pick it up?" And he was like, "It's your fucking weapon." Back we
No
go.
way. Back
Fucking.
we go. You know,
And then we all got in the shit for it. It was like, hang on, how's this happened?
let's blame the lads, the usual. Let's blame
Yeah,
everyone. Let's blanket punish
yeah,
everyone.
fucking. But no, that was quite a good tour as well, to be fair. It was cut short again, same as Iraq, that was cut short as well because we handed over. But, you know, it's funny, isn't it? Because sometimes when I talk like this with another lad that's obviously been on the same squadron and things like that, it's like, I, I love that time.
So,
But
I love it,
when
mate.
you were
Yeah, yeah,
fucking there, you were like, this is fucking shit. I don't want
yeah,
to do this. And then when I think about it now quite often. I got paid to do pretty much nothing all day. Occasionally, you get told, right, you got to go and fizz or do your own fizz.
yeah,
And then occasionally you'd go, right, you're going to the Rangers. And I remember at times I'd be like, I don't want to go to the fucking Rangers. I don't want to.
yeah,
And then I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, I'd fucking love to go to the Rangers.
yeah, yeah, 100%. Like it's always like,
It was always that hurry up and wait bollocks. So
yeah.
you
I
got to
think.
be there at 5
Do you know
in the
what?
morning.
I actually liked the going away parts and the exercise.
Mm.
Anything that was away from work, as in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
squadron, was awesome for me. Like fucking the guys used to call me on FTs, and like I got called Corporal Kenoceros. Like remember Sean McKinnon and guys just like me and Stuart, like everyone. But I was in like that. Speaking about this the other day as well, was like on like FT's got a bad rap for like finals. Ooh, big finals coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
Really hot fucking the R nails, and it's like it was like a bit. My FT for instance, I went on with like I can't remember how many was on it. They say 30 guys that were all keen as fuck, all
Yeah.
wanted to because we'd all done a few tours of Africa and
Yeah,
Iraq and
yeah.
stuff, and everyone was like keen as fuck. And like going into the field for me, sniping or on the FT doing commander phase, whatever, it was like even if it was an exercise, you were doing your job.
Yeah.
And I always just think it was yes, you'd monk and you fucking hate
Oh,
bits of
everyone
it,
had a monk and a moan.
but it was soldiering,
Mm.
and it was like, and I think like our era, especially what you're saying there, like on that time on like 15, for instance, I just thought everybody was like loved to be there, even though it was a shit. We all mourned. Remember the old
Yeah,
saying like
I thought 15
an
was a
unhappy
fucking
was it a monkey gunner is a happy gunner.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
we all mourned like fuck, but we all loved the job.
yeah. I loved my time on 15. I would love to have like experienced other squadrons. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
who wouldn't? But for some reason there was that.
It was the Horrington effect though, because once you're at
Yeah,
Horrington, you stayed at Horrington.
yeah.
Well,
So we
if you wanted
because
to,
it was a weird time as well. So we when we got to 15, there was about 30 of us all arrived at the same time. and it was like, oh right, so we are the new boys, but also there's fucking loads of us.
Yeah,
So
that was carnage. Because I remember I was the NCO of the block when
yeah,
all you fucking. It must have been when you
I
all right.
was quite lucky
Do you
because
remember?
I was out in
Do,
Barnum.
do you remember? Oh, were you at the Barnum one?
Yeah,
Do you remember the block right outside the mess? I was
yes,
the
block
NCO of
71.
that one. 71, fucking hell. There's some videos that still show
Yes, there
YouTube of
is.
the barbecue night. Fucking hell. Like, but it was all, I say you either, but that group that came
Yeah,
in,
yeah, yeah.
it
Well,
was
I did move there in the
fucking
end.
mayhem. It was fucking mayhem.
Yeah.
It was just like piss ups, guys knocking each other out, boxing matches out.
Yeah.
Summer nights with boxing gloves on. Let's beat a Sprog, and it was Sprog v Sprog.
Yes,
You know
it
what I
was.
mean?
It was
And it was
fucking
like, I think there's
carnage.
videos on YouTube of boys getting actually knocked out, like laid
Yeah.
out, like Bosch, and you're like, I was NCO at that point, and I was like,
Wee!
yeah, yeah, I'm the block NCO. And I remember like, fucking hell, like,
He's
guys
fucking
are going to get us
lunatic.
in the shit here.
Mm.
Like, but I'm like, you're meant to be like in command, but it's
Yeah.
hard not to get roped into it. And it was, at the time, everyone's had a drink, and it's like fun.
Yeah.
Then when you look back at it, you think, fuck, it was carnage. Do you know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
to the outside world, it looks like chaos and out of control, but it was probably controlled chaos
Yeah.
because
I like to think so.
it was like
I
it
think the
wasn't
lads
like
sort of knew when it's time to knock it on the head.
yeah, yeah. Like I
They
could see
sort
how
of just
people
did.
would go, oh, like putting complaints and like see a YouTube video or a Facebook video and be like, that's out of order. And it's like, yeah, it looks out of order, but at the time, not one person didn't want to be there, or not one
Yeah.
person didn't want to take part. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
I see that with a lot of stuff like that gets brought up about the military. Even now I'm out, you see stuff from nowadays, and you're like,
Oh, I
it's
see
still
stuff all the time,
carnage.
and it
And it's like I
fucking
find it
makes me
funny,
laugh.
but I've got people who say to me that's ridiculous, and I'm like, it does look ridiculous.
Yeah.
It
I'll
does look
tell you
out of
what,
control.
when you go down to things like that, even down to when I started having a few of me fucking head issues, and I had to my missus told me I had to go and see a fucking therapist to try and sort my fucking head out. I remember sitting there chatting with this therapist, and she was like, "So what? When you were on tour, what was your day-to-day life?" And I was like, "Well, we'd go out and we'd have to check for IEDs and rocket attacks and all that sort of stuff, all the lovely stuff, and you got to sort of put it in your head that this could be the day where you step on an ID, but it is what it is. You just got to crack on,
Yeah.
and she just couldn't get it round her head that that was a normal mindset to have, that you could go out one
Mm-hmm.
day and not come home. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, that was my job. It's like that was
Yeah.
my job. I didn't think of it as fucking mental, but when you talk to a civvy and you're like, oh yeah, I suppose they don't go out every day to,
Yeah.
to find IEDs or stop fucking terrorists and shit like that. It's like, oh shit.
100%. It's like you're saying, we didn't ever think that was abnormal
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
was normal.
Just normal.
But in some way in our heads, we are our brains condensing that
Yeah. Well,
to be
I've said
like
a number of
this is
times
just
on here.
normal, but somewhere
Yeah.
inside it's like this isn't normal.
Yeah. I've
But
said
it's
it a
like yeah,
number of
it's normal.
times before where it's like, to us it's normal, to the outside it's not normal, but we're not normal. We're not
Yeah.
normal humans. It's like my
Mm-hmm.
brother occasionally. So my brother plays in the same charity football team as that I set up, which is pretty much 95% ex-military. We got paras, and we got RAF Reg, we got a couple of rifles and extras. When we start and there's a bit of banter going on the fucking group chat, my brother pops up every now and again. He goes, "What the fuck are you lot talking about?" And it's like, "Well, you don't fucking know, you fucking civvy weirdo." And then I think when I say that to him sometimes, I'm like, "But I'm a fucking civvy weirdo now."
Yeah.
But
But
I'm
you're not
not.
really silly.
I'm a
Not really
fucking veteran, so
silly.
that's fucking that.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
thing we keep skimming past now is actually what you're doing these days with the fitness
Yeah,
stuff.
mate.
This is what happens.
I was
We just
actually,
go
do
on
you know what?
tangents, mate.
I was actually gonna say to you at some point in this podcast, this is what I had pre-planned. I was like, Tommo, we'll talk about what I'm doing now, and then we can always come back and do another one, and we can totally
Oh
reminisce
yeah,
and
yeah.
go back. And then I was like, fuck it, we've covered a quarter of it probably. I mean,
Oh, don't you worry about
but
that.
yeah, so now basically once I got out and stuff, like obviously I wanted to get into fitness, so I
Yeah,
enjoyed it. Looked at I looked up that I could do a PT call through the resettlement stuff. So I was like, do you know what? that's what I'm going to do in a nutshell.
Good idea,
Left
that though.
PT qual, didn't really know what the fuck I was going to do because it's like I'm into fitness, whatever. I got a K, I part owned the gym, CrossFit gym. I don't even heard of CrossFit, but I part owned that.
I've never
Did
heard of
that for a
CrossFit.
good
What's
five,
what's
6 years.
CrossFit?
I was going to go, come on, the fat, right? But yeah, part owned the CrossFit gym, and just as it got to the end of my time there, it was like I I was falling out of love with the whole group setting, like the whole thing, like we just touched on as well. But military, everyone's an individual.
Yeah,
Everyone needs to, like, you could do it like for basic training. It's like this is the way you need to be at point B when you start basics. You come here at point A. Point B, if you're not this person and you don't fit the criteria, you don't fit the fitness standards, you're out,
yeah,
or you fail it. I
spot on.
didn't like that. It can be like that with fitness as well.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
started getting in. I started getting into the whole, like, do you know what? I started, like, for the job as well, like with sniping, thinking outside the box. I was always an overthinker.
hmm.
I was like, there's more to this than just what people are fucking presenting on
Yeah,
a plate. Even I hate, like I say, I hate. I don't like the way that fitness is perceived on social media.
yeah.
I
I
don't
was
like
actually
the
going to
way
ask
that
you about that sort of thing because
the
I
way
know
that
you're
people,
quite an outspoken guy. So, my
like, I
I
think we've
always go to my brother on this one because my brother, I think, pretty sure my brother's training method is very or was very similar to yourself.
yeah.
Um,
Just
and
2 seconds.
I always thought my brother and his methods of training was ahead of what it should be, and it didn't really.
We should get your brother on. He
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like my guy.
No, no, you would get on very well.
I was just plugging this
Yeah, yeah.
this
It's a
iPad in.
shame. It's a shame that he started his. So basically, my brother, after my dad's gym closed, through to just unforeseen circumstances, it just didn't fucking work. And my brother
Yeah.
set up his jet training was what it was called, and then he eventually got
Mm-hmm.
himself a space that he called the Asylum, which was it was fucking horrible.
We will we will get on.
It was fucking horrible, and it was some of the hardest training I've ever done in my life. But it
Mm-hmm.
was it was very basic. There was no mirrors on the wall. That's what was one of the start things.
Tip.
There was pull-up bars everywhere. There was ski ergs, fucking rowers, the fucking air bike, the Airdyne. I fucking hate that thing, by the way. That he hates
Everyone
me.
does.
But he would program all these different sessions, and it would be an individual to each person. If they wanted the one-on-ones, he would do that.
Mm-hmm.
But then he would also train strength and conditioning for MMA fighters. He would then also do a massive group session, a bit like a CrossFit session, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
He took a lot of inspiration and advice from Mark Twight from Jim Jones,
I
and
know
it
about I
yeah
don't know him personally, but
yeah,
that we will get on. That's who
it was
I'm
some of the
inspired by the
hardest
whole.
training I've ever done. Unfortunately for my brother, he was in the wrong city. That's all I'm going to say because he's in Hereford.
I get that, mate. I can get that.
Yeah, he was in Hereford. He had people that just seemed to just want it for free and things like that. And it's like, no, you've got to pay, and then they wouldn't pay. And then
Probably not the wrong city. That's probably every city.
yeah, and he had it was everything was. I'm bigging him up here, and hopefully someone hears it because he was a fucking brilliant.
Did you still do stuff? No.
He doesn't anymore. Well, he does himself and his missus. Um,
He would probably.
it,
Do
it
you know
was a
what?
shame.
Just
It was
I'm
a
just putting
shame
this
that it
out
had
now.
to
I'm just
close.
putting this out now, but like I'm really into Mark Twain and stuff as well. And like he like teamed up with Michael Blevins for a while and they did a
Yep,
non-profit thing.
they were good friends.
Non-profit.
My brother
I'm
knows Michael Levins. He knows him
Right, okay.
personally.
So
Yeah,
I've never met them, but like I follow both of
yeah,
them,
yeah.
and
Brilliant, aren't they?
that's what got me thinking about fitness.
Yeah, you got.
Like I did also I
And
did
you're
because
probably
you
very
mentioned that
similar as
I'm
well
like
because I see loads of things that are fucked up within the fitness thing, and I see it training now when I go in because I use like a it's called Infinity Fitness. It's just a bog standard sort of fucking gym, But you see them, they're all fucking doing
Yeah.
their push-pull sessions. It's like, why are people not training their body as though it's one body anymore? Why is that? Why is that not a thing? Why is it? Oh, I've got to do my chest today. Why is that
Yeah.
still so closed-minded? And
But
as though, even
the
though
thing with
I'm
it though,
still quite big, I feel stronger and fitter at times than I see some of these other people. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
you guys may be ripped, but
it's like the way. So just saying there, like the way I got kind of like influenced by that. Like found them on social media as well,
mm,
just with like the way I thought. Like like because I'm good friends with like the guy Paul Warrior. So you've heard
mm,
Paul Warrior, with he's worth following on Insta. He kind of like posted a few things that got me headed towards Mark Twight and
yeah,
Blevins. Started reading their stuff, and like it was more thoughtful, more in depth, sort of
yeah,
what fitness is really about. And
yeah.
it's like nowadays, like we could go really deep. That's why it'd be good to get a
No,
chat with
no,
you and your brother as well. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
but
definitely.
it's like we've lost that point. Like, and like they say on their, they said on a lot of their podcasts, and I hashtag it at the end of some of my posts. Like, fitness is fucked.
Yep,
Like, we are fucked now because no one trains for fitness anymore. Not saying no one.
no, most of them
Majority
train for
don't train for
aesthetics.
fitness anymore.
Yeah,
They will train for aesthetics. And I put a post out about that today, about most train for aesthetics. But see, once you start coming away from that and start training for, like I like to put on, I used to put on my older posts, like about capability and
mm,
being like when we were in the military, it was more. That's why I look at it. It's like we trained for a job and a purpose,
yeah,
but it was, and that purpose was just to be as fit and as hard as we fucking could because
yeah,
our
yeah,
job needed it. If people took that into normal everyday life, just be as fit and as strong and as purposeful as you can, you could probably become a mean motherfucker.
yeah,
Do you know what
yeah,
I mean? And you
definitely.
could probably you probably enjoy training more because you're not training aesthetically
Yeah, yeah,
and you're
yeah,
not training, and you're never going to change people. And there's like a small pocket of people like, and I've they were saying coming up with Fear Not. It took me. I spent 10 years looking for programs, looking
yeah.
for people that did kind of what I had it in my head somewhere that I was like, what am I wanting from this? And
Mm,
it took me 10 years to, well, not 10 years to that point, but I found these kind of people,
yeah,
little
yeah,
pockets. And I remember like speaking to Paul one day about it, and it was like, you've got to go. I went down to his like gym for a seminar. I wouldn't call it a gym, but it's space, his campfire. And it
yeah,
was basically said that you've got to put on the paper what you want out of this for training. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And that enlightened me. It was like, I've got to write my program the way that I think training should
yeah,
be done,
yeah.
not
Spot on.
not fit the masses, not
Yeah,
try and lure. It's not like me coming on tonight to you, Tom, and going, get fucking training with me, mate. I've got the
yeah,
perfect fat loss program, weight loss. Do you mean it's like I'll train how I want, and if it fits your mold, come and train.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's one of fucking genuinely, that's exactly how my brother's gym was, and
Yeah,
it started off that it was he had like a fight club sort of mentality.
mm-hmm. I love it.
You don't come to my gym and then pay me for me to train you. You get selected and it's like a word of mouth that you
Yeah,
may fit. If you don't fit my gym, then you're not part of it.
mate. I used to when I first started, it was application only. It still
Yeah.
am application only, but I'm a little bit more
But even
leeway
down, I've
because
noticed on your social media posts. I know that you're not massive on the social media platforms at the minute, but it's very similar to how my brother's was as well,
yeah.
and how Jim Jones is because they're not like I. There's something
So,
about the black and white as well, by the way, that I fucking
best thing, the thing about the black and white, best thing I ever got explained, well, I read about or I heard about the black and white was I've always liked black and white.
yeah
Even took photographs in Afghan and stuff, made them
yeah
black and
yeah
white, still got them. And it's like, there's just something about it. Someone explained it once about the black and white, but if you look at the gym setting, it's quite colourful, people with bright colours. If you put a colourful photograph of any photograph, but if you put a photograph up and there's loads of colour in it, your mind
yeah
wanders to. Whereas if you put somebody up doing an assault bike effort and you
mm,
put it in black and white, people tend to look at the picture.
yeah
They're not distracted by the color. They're not distracted. Other good thing as well is if people are overweight or clothes aren't that great fitting, black and white's a little bit like more subtle,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
kind of like it all goes into the same sort of tone. And I think it's like you can focus on the picture and you could go, that person's on an assault bike giving it loudly. And you go, wow, that's a good picture. Whereas if they're wearing a bright pink top and you're like, oh, there's a chick in a pink top on the
Yeah.
bike. I think black and white like really like makes things more simple, more
Yeah, yeah.
thoughtful.
No,
And
I
it's kind of like
totally
we've
agree.
heard sayings about it as well, but it's like if life was black and white, we'd be so much more it's so much more easy to relax. It's
Yeah.
calming on the mind. It's like there's not a lot
And
of
you need that
deviation.
these days because your fucking mind goes all over the shop. And yourself, my brother, Jim Jones, that whole sort of tribal mentality is spot on, and especially with the hashtag that fitness is fucked. I like occasionally I'll go onto Instagram and I'll be scrolling through fucking your Fit for You page or whatever, and the amount of I spoke about it on this before, and the amount of fitness influencers that are just there for aesthetics and the amount of especially women this could get me cancelled influencers and it's like do you train anything else but your ass and legs because
No, they don't. They
you're
don't. They
you're
don't.
basically an OnlyFans model at the minute because you're in your tiny pants that fair play if that makes you train harder I don't know
They don't. They
and your
don't train
sport and
hard
your
though.
sports
They
bra
look good.
it's
They don't
like
train hard.
and it's like oh and here's the one that really
Do,
fucks
do, do,
the
sorry,
one that
go for
really
it.
fucks me off is join me for my day at the gym, and it starts with them getting out of bed. That you've clearly set your tripod up first. Getting out of bed, and I'm just happen to be in my sexy lingerie while I'm putting my gym stuff on. It's like, what are you fucking doing?
They're training chess, but yet they're
Yeah,
arses to the camera.
yeah. You've got my
The-
attention because you're a fitness chick and you're not wearing much, but
yeah.
everything you've just told me is bullshit.
One thing. One thing that I pick on massively is if I find a page and I go onto it, as
Mm,
soon as that page is all about the training,
yeah,
switch off.
yeah,
I'm like, I'm sick of trainers coming on telling me about their daily routines, what their training is, what they do, how they look, how they feel. Who gives a fuck about that? I want to know what you do, and I want to
yeah,
know how
yeah.
your client, how what your
What are
clients are
you
like.
doing to better your clients?
Like if you look at like the pages that I would follow and like myself, it's like what we do is on fear not like
Yeah.
it's the guys I work with. It's like okay, I'll post a video of me up occasionally, but if you followed me for a while, that you have, you probably if you didn't
Yeah.
know me, you probably didn't know that I was a trainer.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
case in point, when I asked you for some stuff for me to promote that you're coming on, it's like, oh, I've got to actually find you some photos of me training or whatever. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
well, yeah.
don't do it.
I ended up stealing fucking some other clips anyway and made it probably
That's
the
good.
world's greatest trailer because
It was
that's what
like
I fucking do.
I had the headphones in, and it's like, what's Total tagged me? And it was like, it was like Jurassic Park 7.
Yes, mate.
It's
That's
like,
how I
what's
roll.
going on here? What
You
is going
should
on?
you should see some of the ones that I do for the fucking football team. Jesus.
I got followed the Granite site. Is it Granite Zero FC?
Yeah, yeah. FC Granite Zero.
Is he?
It's funny because some of the lads take the piss. They're like, "Fucking hell, Tom, are you in your fucking trailers?" I'm like, "Yeah," but it's getting views,
Yeah.
and the fact that it's getting views generates people to know that what we're about. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
had six other charity football teams now contact me saying, "Do you guys fancy a game?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, hang on a minute."
Yeah,
We
yeah,
haven't
yeah,
won
yeah.
a game yet, so just chill out. We need to.
Just chilling.
I've got some fucking brilliant track. We win every game if it was down to my fucking trailers.
That is trailer. But it's like just on that though, it's like that was one of the things for me was so like I said on my little spiel that I gave you was just
Mm,
like I it's hard for me to say to people what I do
yeah,
because it is different from what your generic. Like you can see that from my page. That like for you to say that to me is like, well, you've noticed it, so do you
yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
I
It's
think it's
like
brilliant.
it is different for what we do from the standard trainer out there or the standard gym practice. It's
Mm,
like because I do it per individual, you come to me with we have a chat, your goals,
yeah,
your whatever
I
you want
think
to do.
there's a lot of personal
If it's
trainers.
tailored,
There's a lot of
you
personal
can't put
trainers
that
and trainers in general that have lost that, what you just said there.
individuality of person.
The consultation period where
Yeah,
it's like, what do you want?
yeah,
I know from, because I used to be a PT before I joined up, and it was like I used to get I used to joke with my brother, because my brother used to get all the women. That's all I'm going to say. He used to get all the women that didn't need training. Put it that way. And
yeah,
then I would get all the others, and it's like, I say I get all the others. I didn't get all the others. We did split it, but I'd get certain ones, and I'd be like, what do you want out of this? Because we've got the weight management program, we've got this program, that program. What do you need for me to train you? And it's having that back and forth with your client. I
yeah.
fucking miss it. I'm talking to you now. I miss doing that. And
Mate, it's
then,
like I, people say to me like they can see I've got passion for it, and it's like
mm,
I do, and it's like I say I say things to people that I find that a craft. It's like I love it. I love it. I love programming. I love coming up with ideas to get someone from
yeah,
here to there. People, they were saying there, people make it into like it's like rocket science.
yeah,
Like to
stop.
get someone from here to here,
Yeah.
like isn't rocket science. I had this discussion with a client maybe a year ago about we all know there is no magic pill. There is
Well,
no
no, of course not.
quick solution. And I hate
But
all that. I hate all that cliche, no shortcuts and stuff. But if I was to narrow it down and say, if there was one thing, it would be engagement, and it would be someone being engrossed in the training.
oh yeah, of
So
course.
what I do, like you're saying about your brother, you like I want to make training so enjoyable for you, and so like fulfilling when you go to the gym, you want to do it, that you love getting your program. Every time it's always different, it's always
Yeah,
new,
it's
it's
different.
always trying a new
That is
idea.
key. That is key as well.
I'll throw it. If you said to me, I like doing this, of course I'm going to make you do that. I'm going to give you that. I'm also going to make you things that it's kind of that military, the shit sandwich. I'm going to
Yeah,
give you
yeah.
something really good,
I'll give you
then I'm going
something
to give you a bit
good,
of
but I'll
shit,
also
and
get you
something
something
good.
out of your comfort zone that's gonna
And
fucking
it's
throw
like
you up.
I'm writing a program for you, not fucking me.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like I know what will get you here, but I need to. I want like I say this quite a lot as well, but my clients, I've got quite good longevity with clients. Like when a
yeah.
retention, when they come
That's
to
good.
me, they stick around because, and I've never really asked them all one by one, but I'm quite, I, I'm quite a chatty person. I'm quite a down to earth bloke. I'm not up my own fucking arse. Like I'll give you hard training. Like it's kind of like that whole. I want to take the underdog and make them a
Yeah,
champion. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
don't,
Love that.
I love it. I love it now when people come. I hate when people come to the gym and they're shit scared to go in there because of the, like you said, influencers and can arses hanging out everywhere and like
Yes.
guys showing their six packs off. It's like
Well,
you could train harder than them
yeah,
and be
I
something
get
like
that because
give them
my
confidence.
my missus is like that. So my missus hates the gym. I don't can't I genuinely can't remember the last time she actually went to the gym. Bless her, because she doesn't. She feels like people are watching her. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
you got to.
they're
I
not.
always say to her, you got to
No,
remember, everyone in the gym is there for their own purpose. You know, it is what it is. She likes doing. She does a or did until they fucking got too big for themselves and disappeared. She liked this. It was like a circuit training session, but it was done to drum and bass type music. But she
okay.
liked that because it was a bit like aerobics, basically,
Yeah,
but to
yeah,
her
yeah,
kind of music that she liked, and she loved it. And then they fucked off, and then she's like, "Oh, well, now what do I do?" It's like, well,
yeah.
you need to
So
find
that's the
your own
thing. That's the
niche.
thing that I like is like like we cannot like I'll say it to people. I would say it to you right now. It's like I'll laugh at some people like the way they'll train and the way that you'll see people in the gym they're doing their own little thing or their own little circuit, and you think
Mm.
that's not for me. That's not the way I would train. But you know what? Hats off to you coming into
Yeah,
the gym
no,
and doing it,
exactly.
or
Spot on.
like
Spot on.
being at home. Like for me, it's like one of the big ones is like people always go, just get on the treadmill and walk. At least they're walking, and I would say 100%. At least they're walking, but it gets to a point where okay,
You
that
got,
walk is not doing you anything now.
yeah, you got to do a bit more than that.
You need to take it on,
Yeah,
and it's
spot on.
like hats off to anyone who gets in or does something. And if it's dancing to R&B and doing aerobics,
Yeah,
great,
yeah,
you're moving, amazing. You're doing more than what most people
yeah.
are.
It's like
So like
when
do
I
it.
go back to when I did
It's like hopefully
the
that would
boot
give
camps.
hopefully that would give give the bug to move on to something
Oh yeah,
else.
definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Or
That's why I
scroll
used to
Instagram
love
one day,
doing
see
the
something like your brother's posted, like
yeah, I used to love doing the boot camps. My brother used to have the piss. He used to go, "Oh, you're doing park." It was called Park Fit. He's like, "Oh, you're doing Park Fit." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is," but I'm getting people moving. And I
yeah,
used to enjoy writing those sort of programs because I would take a lot of inspiration because it was a military boot camp. So I'd take a lot of inspiration from the PTIs that used to train us, and I would adapt it. And I've also got extra equipment that I can use to, well, fuck
yeah,
them up basically. And I remember every sort of time I would get there because I very probably very similar to yourself. If you needed to, you've got that military voice where you can sort of
yeah,
put it on and you can. I don't want to say assert dominance, but you
yeah, yeah.
people
Just
know that
yeah, yeah,
you are the trainer. And I used to say at the start of every session, you are going to hate me for this hour, but by the end
yeah,
of it, you're going to thank me and say, Tommo, that is the best training session I've done in a while. And they always go, yeah, whatever. And then I would fucking smash him for the hour. And then
yeah,
at the end, they'd go, that was fucking brilliant. I'm so glad that I came. And I'm like, well,
yeah,
thank you
yeah.
very much.
Remember when I first got out, or no, still in, and I applied to British Military Fitness,
Oh, yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, you're in, you're a servant. Now, if you're
Mm.
PT, like, calm down, dude." So I went down to Perth and like on the inch sets up. We got 40 people turning up, and I'm like, "Fucking hell, 40 people." Turns up, guy starts making them crawl through puddles, and I start wetting myself. And he goes, "What are you laughing at?" And I go, "Never fucking once in my military career did I leper crawl through puddles on a battle PT or a circuit, unless you're working with Scouse Taylor,
Yeah,
okay?
well, no,
But
exactly.
but yeah, who's been on? But I was like, never once did we go down to the gym and went, right, get through the paddles. And he goes, yeah,
Yeah.
mate, people fucking love it, Donny. And I was like,
No, they
okay.
do though.
And then yeah, and
So
it
I
got me
took
like,
something similar. I took something
people paid a
similar.
tenner to get bashed.
Yeah, I know. My as I said, my mate fucking shipper who used to be on Sea Flight on 15. He's got a T-shirt that said "Civvies pay thousands for this." That was his T-shirt. But
Yeah,
I still remember, right? I used to use it occasionally. It was normally in the winter when it was a bit softer and that. But I took it from my bayonet training, which was grenade drill, where they would shout grenade and then you have to jump on the floor and fucking leopard crawl for fucking ages. And
yeah,
I used to enjoy doing it because the civvies, mate, they fucking love that. They were like, oh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like I feel like I've done selection. It's like, well, you haven't.
yeah, yeah,
I've just
yeah.
shouted,
Well, yeah,
I've shouted grenade at you, and you've crawled on the floor, probably through dog shit. And fucking other
wait,
civvies are probably thinking, what
that's
the
right. What was it?
fuck
What was
is
it?
going on?
Grenade. You hit the deck. What got you back up again? Was it just stand
All
up? I can't
clear.
remember. All clear. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
All clear. Fucking
So you'd
back.
shout grenade, and they'd hit the
Fucking
floor, and they'd crawl, and then you go, all clear, and they'd get
Did
up
you
and
ever make them? Did you ever make them shout "kill, kill,
nah, I didn't
kill"?
do that.
That'd been awesome. Down the Boko Park,
What makes
40
the
men.
grass grow?
Cool.
Blood, blood, blood. Fucking
People
hell.
walking past your boot camps, 40 civvies shouting "blood, blood, kill." But it's like, who's fucking what?
I saw something online the other day, and it was some paras doing their bayonet, and they were shouting "kill, kill, kill," and what makes the grass grow. And one of the corporals that was fucking giving them shit, and I was like, I fucking know him. And I was looking at him, I was going, "Where no word of a lie. He was a lad well, my brother used to knock about with, but I used to hang around with as well. Because being the younger brother, that's what you did. Yeah,
Yeah,
Phil Donkin, his name was, and he was a fucking brilliant basketball player. He's about 6'6", fucking brilliant
good,
basketball player. And
good name for it as well. Phil,
I
Phil
didn't,
Donkin, good at basketball.
yeah, I didn't realize that he joined the fucking parachute regiment, and he was one of the instructors doing that. And I was like, that's fucking Phil Donkin. Like, I
Yeah, yeah,
was like, if anyone knew, that's Phil Donkin. That's a stupid name for a start, Donkin.
yeah,
But yeah, I was like, that's fucking mad. It's crazy.
yeah,
But then again, I grew up in fucking Hereford, so everyone joined fucking the Rifles or the Paras
yeah.
or ended up like me and joining the RAF Reg and everyone taking the
Johnny
piss.
Rathred. I mean, got slated for years, and then
Oh,
You know what I mean?
mate, I
Do you know what's quite funny? Like I I knew well things think well you know anyway you're the same area, but things totally changed with us from like the
yeah,
old school regiment to the new school, with I would call it. Like it was a total evolution of us
yeah, yeah,
when Iraq Afghan kicked off. Like I speak to I work in a commercial gym just now, like pure gym, and like you get a lot of people coming in, and say I work in there, like I do my bit in there, and I do my PT from there.
yeah, yeah.
Like I speak to a lot of guys who are like Marines, paras, because we've got Fort George just down the road from us, and like we've
All
got the
right, yeah,
Rangers
yeah,
and stuff. So they've got like a lot of regiments come up to do the Rangers packages, so they come to
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
gym, and like I'll speak to guys, you know them in the military as they're in the
Oh yeah,
t-shirts on early morning or whatever. I'll say to them now, RAF Reg and that I was the ex-RAF Reg, and most of them go, fuck hell, mate. And then I was speaking to guys from Inverness who's a Marine, and like totally like took me back how speaking away to me. And I'm like, do you know? And I even said to him, I goes, "You've obviously worked with RAF Reg." Went, yeah, I've done quite a few tours with RAF Reg guys. And I'm like, you
it's
can tell the
funny,
ones
isn't
who've
it?
worked with us. You can tell the ones who've worked with us
Yes,
because
you
they
can.
fucking respect. And
Yeah,
they told him I was like ex-sniper and stuff. And he's like, oh, like, oh, mate. And then it's like, you can tell you've worked with us because you've not said a bad word. You've not
yeah.
slated. Oh no, we
That's
haven't
the
in that.
thing. It's so funny. I've
Once you
spoke
have
about
it,
it with the
once you haven't,
lads
that's fucking cool.
so much, and it's like you can tell the ones that are just going off banter that is fucking ancient for
Off
a
of
start,
Facebook.
and then you can tell the ones that
Yeah,
have worked with us because it's like I sit well because I'm clued up now, mate. I'm fucking social media expert. When you're on fucking TikTok and you see things and you're like, why have you posted that to have a go at the RAF Reg? You don't even know. You don't know. And I had Big Dave Radband on the podcast.
yeah. I followed
Yeah,
Dave Band. Yeah,
bit before he went on the fucking Uber podcast. Now he went on mine first, just so you know. Um, and I because he's quite big in the SFSG community, the SF community, and obviously the paras. And I was like
yeah,
talking to him, and I was like, "Can you just help me out here?" Because everyone fucking has a go at the fucking RAF Reg, and I know for a fact that you've worked alongside some fucking decent blokes
troopers.
through SFSG and through SF. And he went, some of the best soldiers I've worked with were RAF Reg, and he went, and it's the same with every fucking unit. You have the fucking dickheads
100%.
that takes the biscuit. And I was
Do you know
like,
what? Do you know what I always say? If it was like, could be just our era again.
yeah,
But like we said about like on my promotion course, for instance, like
mm,
most guys I work with were keen as fuck.
yeah,
We wanted to do our job, and it's the same as I taking that into my PT world. It's like I want to do everything to the best of my ability,
yeah,
and I don't want to leave no stone unturned. I want to do a good job. I want to like, do you know what I mean? Showcase myself.
yeah,
And like, I've taken that attitude, but I think a lot of lads in our era did the same. We didn't want to be an embarrassment. We didn't
no,
want to be.
and
We wanted to do a good
and
job on it. So we trained hard. We
it
fucking
goes
fought
back,
hard.
mate.
We did everything.
Yeah, it goes back to that fucking video, right?
The 5 miler one.
Yeah, and I've said, right, I used to be that guy that used to go, they can't talk about bad about my regiment, fuck that, and I used to get fucking really
I
worked
did as
up.
well.
I used to, but now I'm sort of like, ah, it's fucking banner. It is what it is. I tend to now, if I'm going to comment, I'll just put, can you get some new banter, please? That happened in 2007. Fucking grow up. But I'm like, you're taking that out of context. What Scouse Taylor was doing there was riling up the troops for
Yeah,
their end of course.
I
Fucking
loved how I loved how you got him on. I watched that podcast, and I was like, you know what? I because I remember Scouse Taylor from obviously training,
yeah, I had
uh,
Scouse Taylor on.
and
He's
I remember he was a wild one.
he's
But
mental.
when I watched that podcast, still Scouse Taylor, but I was like right from the offset, I was like fair play Scouse. He took it all in the chin, didn't he? He was like,
Yeah,
I love it how this flag is because
but
I mean it was
he
like
said he was like I know
explained it
I
all.
understand how that came across. This is what he said. He went, I understand how that came across. He went, but I'm trying to work these lads up so that they're going in thinking I'm fucking the best, and
Yeah.
that's what we want. He was like, I didn't know I was being recorded for a start.
And it was back in the day when mobile phones and that had just become come
Yeah.
out record and
And
Facebook. But he said that, didn't he? Like Facebook had just
yeah.
come on the scene. No one even knew what social media was,
But
really.
it's so funny because you see all these blokes that are fucking gobbling off about Scouse Taylor, and I've literally put before and went, you do know he was part of SOSG and he was attached to Three Power for a good number of years. And they're like, no, is he? Yes, he was a fucking brilliant soldier. Or
Yeah.
probably, I don't even know what he does now, but he was a fucking, he was nuts. Don't get me wrong, he was fucking nuts. But then
He
it,
was like they were like even going back, the way we said about the way that I am with fitness now and my clients. Scouse Taylor, I didn't see this at the time. This was a bit growing up. The
yeah,
Scouse Taylor was just passionate and fucking loved the
yeah, of
military.
course he was.
Do you know what I mean? He was just all he wanted to do was produce fucking great
But then
soldiers.
it
And
then got moved on, didn't it? It then got moved on to the Battle of Bastion.
oh,
That was
yeah,
that's fucking bullshit. I had I had the guy on. Fucking I've forgotten his name. I have to go through my
get
phone.
this,
Yes.
don't get this.
Yeah, he came on the podcast and I went, look, mate, we're gonna have to clear this up because obviously 15 Squadron took over from your boys,
51.
and we got the shit. We got oh they fucking shot their own body armor and all this fucking all that bullshit. And he was like, I can tell you now that fucking didn't happen. I can go through fucking step by step what happened that day, and it was fucking brutal. And he did. He literally went through it all on the podcast, and I was
Yeah.
literally in awe. I was going, well, fucking fair play. And then when he said that he said he got issued the military cross, and he went I didn't deserve it. He went I understand why I got it because I was the flight sergeant. I got it,
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a sergeant at the time. He went I got it. He went, but this isn't for me. This is for every single trooper that fucking or every single gunner, should I say, that
Yeah.
fucking dealt with that incident because it should never have happened.
Typical military thing, though, isn't it? Like
Yeah, yeah.
guys who like
He went. That should
I
never.
I don't deserve that. I should
Yeah,
never have. But mate, you were there.
yeah.
You were part of it. Take what they
But
throw at you. Do you know what I mean?
it's
It's like
fucking mad, isn't it? It's mad how the jealousy and stuff like that kicks in. Because obviously Dave
oh
Hayden got
yeah,
a lot of shit. I don't fully know the story with Dave Hayden. Dave Hayden, I've asked him to come on the podcast before, but I know he's got a lot of issues.
it's a total like the whole environment,
But I
and it's the
also had
same with
I've had Trevor Colt on military cross, Irish Guards,
okay,
and he's had so much shit from everyone, as in people that serve with the Irish Guards, even down to fill your boots, the fucking Facebook page and
yeah.
stuff like
That
that. It's,
I came off that page because I was just
oh,
like,
I
fucking
didn't,
these
mate.
guys are ruthless.
I came off fill your boots when I got put on it.
Did you put on it?
Yeah, yeah, I got put
What
on
for
it
the
for
podcast?
there was no for there was a lad that was doing some he wanted to get into training for the SAS or something like that. So they were giving him banter, but they took clips from me doing the press up challenge, the 2-2 press up challenge for PTSD and fucking
Okay.
people that have killed themselves. So I would do little videos saying I'm doing my fucking press ups. Who else is doing their fucking press ups? Fucking get on it. But they would take clips of that and put it on his fucking thing. And I was like, why is everyone making me out to be some sort of fucking dickhead? This is a bit harsh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah,
ended up
yeah.
on there and I was like, how's this fucking happened? This is
It's the thing with the military, though, isn't it? Like work with some of the best guys, best troopers on the planet, but there's some fucking bellends, man.
oh,
I mean,
there's some proper
there's some
cunts, mate.
ruthless there's some ruthless
I
cunts.
got
Yeah,
thrown under the bus so much it was unreal by lads who I thought were my mates,
yeah,
and I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. Like it started off
yeah,
with when I first left and I started going on a bit of a fitness journey where I would take video. Like it's quite popular now, people taking videos of themselves in the gym. But I sort of did
yeah.
that before it was like super cool,
Popular.
and I'd be
Yeah,
doing
you
stuff
did.
like that. And then I ended
You
up
probably
on
didn't wear hot pants either.
no, I might have done some 1970s running shorts, I think. But I'd be doing like some pull ups and that before. Well, don't think I fucking can do a pull up now, but I was smashing out some pull ups, and then I ended up on a RAF Reg paid called the Heartbreak Hotel, which used to be the nickname of Block 71.
71. Yeah,
Yeah, I ended up on that, and it was fucking lads taking the piss out of me, and I was like, all right, a bit of banter,
yeah,
whatever. Took that as it was, and then it sort of just fucking continued, and I was like, what's going on
mhm,
here? Then I did the 22 press ups challenges. That then started getting snipped and put onto fucking things. I was like, who's doing this? And I was like looking at the people that were supposed to be my mates, and I was like, why is this happening? And then I started the podcast, and then I got a lot of shit. He was like, who the
yeah,
fuck do you think you are? You're put, as I said earlier, you're putting the regiment into disrepute, and they
yeah.
obviously
Fuck
quoting
off.
Gary Eden when they say that, which is fine because he loves me, by the way. And then I did release a book, the Granite Zero book. It's mixed reviews again, but most of it was about my journey with my mental health stuff. That's
Yeah,
basically what it was. That then got torn to shreds by fucking lads who I also thought were my mates,
yeah,
and I was like, right, I'm gonna have to fucking go through my friend list and realize who my actual mates are.
yeah,
So I literally got rid of anyone who had RAF Reg basically in their bio. I was like, nah, fuck you. And then there was a handful like the lads that live around me that are close. Then there was a few others that I personally were close to, like Ian Ramsey.
yeah.
He's a good mate of mine. Always has
What's he
been.
doing now? What's he doing now?
He's still in, mate. I think he's very close to very close to quitting. I think he's got that good a pension that he's just going to be a fucking groundskeeper at the fucking golf course. I think. I genuinely, I say he's in very good
I
spirits.
think he's like he must have been in like
Yeah,
3 or 4 years more than me
he's now
ahead
he's
of me.
now properly grey though because
Is it? He was great when he
he
was 30.
he was
Sorry,
he
20.
was
He
he
was
was
saying
dyeing
20,
his
and
hair at 30. You mean? Um,
he was dying.
but yeah, there was a few that I
He was just so jet black that he couldn't go
yes, it
any other
was. It
way.
was you were like you're definitely dying that. I'm not. You are. We know you are. Um, so I still keeping. I say I wouldn't even say regular communication. Occasionally, I'll send him a message saying, "You're a pal. How
Yeah.
are you doing?"
That's
Uh,
a bit like me, mate. I
and then
once I got out of that
I still call him Keith. Keith Reeves, John Reeves.
Keith Reeves, yeah.
Yeah, I still. He's set up his own fitness center gym thing.
Really good
I can't
on.
remember the name of it now. I'll have to look at it because he started off doing a apparel company, as all good military people do.
Yeah,
I think it was called CQB, and I thought that's quite cool. Well done. But he genuinely did something that was it did mean a lot to me. He actually reached out to me and said, "Tommo, can I just have a word with you about your podcast and your book and things like that?" Because I also did a little mini documentary about my fucking head and all that
yeah,
sort of stuff. So in my personal opinion, I thought I was helping others that don't have a voice. That they were like,
yeah, yeah.
"You're putting yourself out there." And he was
And
like,
yeah,
a lot of the lads are pissed off because it seems very narcissistic. And I was like, well, that's fucking the last thing that's on my mind is being a narcissist, thinking
yeah,
that everything evolves around me and that. And I went, that's not what this is about. But I was like, I appreciate the fact that you've actually spoke to me instead of fucking giving me shit like everyone else. I
hmm
went, I can tell you for now that I've been to the doctors, I've been to therapy, I've been to all this. Anyway, but yeah, he's got his own gym now, and it looks fucking good. It's a typical CrossFit box, which
yeah.
I gave him shit um, for doing CrossFit because of his fucking shit burpees, not burpees, pull-ups that he does. Because he actually generally did message me because I had Josh Bridges on the podcast, and obviously he's quite
Did
big
you?
in the CrossFit community.
Yeah. He's a
And
bit like
that
me. He's
was
about
one of
my
the
age
first.
now. Right?
That was one of the first things that I said to him. Apparently, I don't even remember saying it, but I said, "Your fucking pull-ups are shit, mate. You need to stop doing that." And he was like, and he messaged me and went, "How dare you say that to someone like Josh Bridges, who's massive in the?" I went, "Why not?" I went, He's doing a fucking butterfly fucking pull up, which is designed for gymnastics, and he's doing it over and over again, which is not good for the fucking your shoulders. And when it's designed to get you up to do
Yeah.
gymnastics moves, I know that. I went, if you want to quote fucking Mark Twight, strict is best. You want to do a strict pull up. But yeah, no. So John's another one. He put a new post up about his gym, and I went, "Fucking hell, Keith, looks like a fucking brilliant gym." And he went, "Nobody calls me Keith anymore." I went, "Everyone fucking calls you Keith. Shut up. You're Keith Reeves."
Fuck off, Keith.
Yeah, fuck off, Keith. But
But
no, it's
mate, I would love to like it's totally, that was your podcast. I would love to. We should get your brother on, and
oh yeah, I'll definitely get him on,
we
mate.
should have a fitness a fitness
Fitness.
fucking bitch about it,
Yeah, definitely,
and
because
like get him back at like because
he needs
like
to get back into it. Because
he is 100 like just what you said there. That's how I found
he's before
same
his time.
route.
He was genuinely before his time, with all this sort of thing. And
Even now, like the way that I think about fitness is very much influenced by the same as your brother. And
yeah,
like it's before, you say it's before your time. No, it's like I don't even know when the time is going to come because everyone's
yeah.
still 50 years or
So I
more
still
beyond.
remember when he first he got he I say he got the bug. He got like a little bit of a twinge for it, you could say, was when we funnily enough, we watched the movie 300 like every fucking good
Yeah.
fucking red-blooded male does. And he wanted to know if he basically wanted to know, is that steroids or did they genuinely train hard? And he looked
Mhm.
into it and he found that they did the Jim Jones program for 300,
Yeah.
to which he then brought to the world famous Archways gym, which was my dad's gym. And I remember because he made me do it when I came back from leave. I came back home for leave, and he went, "Sean, I got a training program for you to do." And I was all right. What is it? And we're going to do 300. I went, oh, fucking what the fuck is 300? He went, well, if you do it, you get a t-shirt. I went, me being me, I was like, I get a fucking t-shirt, fucking spot on. And he blasted me
Sign me
through
up.
it. I passed it because obviously going through basic training, you're at probably the peak fitness that you're going to get at the time. And I was like, I smashed through that, got my t-shirt, and I was like, brilliant. And he went, yeah, I'm thinking about implementing this in the gym. But at the time, the gym that my dad had was very much it was a bit like a leisure center type gym where it was machines and then the free weights and all that sort of stuff were down in the basement.
Yeah.
Get down in the fucking cellar. It was an old pub basically, so it was on 3 floors, and he
Right.
couldn't really do the stuff that he wanted to do until he got to the asylum. And I remember I was the envy of some people on the fucking squadron when I got my special t-shirt, um, and the envy of some of his clients. So I smashed through a few of his training programs before I went out to Afghan, and he gave me a special jet training fucking t-shirt with the big 300 on the back in the blood soaked 300, but it was green, so I could wear it under my
Yeah.
uniform, so I could wear it as my fucking t-shirt. And the lads would be like, "What the fuck is that t-shirt?" And it's like, "Well, I fucking earned this t-shirt. It's a fucking special t-shirt." But yeah, I fucking love that sort of training, and it was
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
still to
Yeah.
this day, it's the hardest I've ever been pushed in any
I think it's
sort
so.
of
It's like
training.
yeah. The same you're saying there. It's like the hardest you've been pushed, but at the same time you did it as in you
Yeah,
pushed
yeah,
it. So
yeah,
like any training's hard, isn't it? But
yeah,
it's the ones. But it's like that's what I like about the whole Twite thing, the whole 300. It's like
yeah,
it's people putting in the effort for what they want out of it, and like they can say any training can be any training's hard, and it's easy to make training hard, but it's hard to make training like
yeah.
purposeful and like
And
efficient and like
for those
getting
that
people doing it.
for those that are listening as well, I say are as listening, so I haven't got fucking that big a fan base. Um, you got to get that first step in. You got
Oh,
to,
100%.
you've got. It's all well and good saying, "Oh, I'm going to start tomorrow,"
Mhm.
but you actually have to fucking start at some point.
Yeah,
And as
yeah.
you said, everybody in the gym is doing something different to better themselves. That's why they're in the fucking gym.
Mhm.
And
It's like just do what you want to do or what you feels right.
yeah,
And then
I
like
even
I
as me
hate that.
missus. So me missus, obviously, I said that she hates the gym and she's missing that side of the training that she enjoyed. But it's little things that have changed that actually are a massive thing that she hasn't realised. So since we've moved house, like my daughters can walk to school now instead of us giving them a
Mhm.
lift. My missus can walk to her salon to go to work. She doesn't need to drive anymore. It's only me that has to drive, but then I go to the gym now when I'm at work. Oh, where's he gone? We're going to press pause on that. I'm going to use that bit as to put my advert in
Put
for
your
my
advert in.
for my
Got
sponsors
to sell. Got to sell.
for my
Got to
sponsors.
sell. Keep the sponsors
Fucking
happy.
sponsors. It's funny, is it? Right. So as a podcast, you a lot of people go, oh, you must get loads of sponsors. You must get all this and all that. You don't. What you get is if you put our company as your advert, we'll give you 10% off or give you a discount code.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but how does that help me grow my podcast? Um, so I could literally have the same amount of views and all the other jazz that comes with me recording and releasing it because I do all my advertising myself from
Hmm.
YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all that. So the views are all mine, even though I tag certain companies in to help boost that. Most of it, 99.9% is mine. So it's
Yeah.
like, so why would I advertise your company if you're not going to help me out? And it's like
Hmm. Hmm.
it's a mutual thing. So I've put out a few times like, would you like to sponsor the podcast? It's like what, and then they all come back with, what do we get out of it? And it's like, well, you get basically free advertising.
Hmm.
Basically, it's like, and then oh, what do you want now? Well, I don't actually need much because I'm unique in that way. I'm not like other podcasts where they need the studio time and things like that because I record in a fucking garage. All the kit and equipment. So basically, the only thing that's been paid for me was my MacBook, and that was by my dad.
Yeah.
My dad got a got a bung from his job because he does a bit of CP work. He got a bung from his job, and he went, "Look, I did your podcast on episode 100. What can I do to help you out?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, well, I could do with a MacBook or a decent laptop to record off." He's like, "There you go, bosh." The microphone and the stand. That was a Father's Day present from my daughters.
Yeah.
The spotlights that I've got, I bought off eBay. Or no, I'm Amazon for about fucking £4. So it's like all these people have the fancy fucking studios. It's like you don't need the fancy studio. What you need is that bit of revenue to then do the advertising on fucking
Yeah. Yeah.
Instagram
Yeah.
and that. So that when you're scrolling
That's
through, all of a sudden your fucking podcast is there, and it's like, well, watch me.
yeah. But it's like anything, man. It's like
Yeah, it's
you just need a little bit of exposure and like get it out there
yeah.
and
Do you know
like
what? Do you know what the
just to
craziest
make
thing
things
is?
work.
The craziest thing is, I got my daughter finds it hilarious. She went, "Dad, you went viral on fucking TikTok," and I went, "Did I?" And I looked at it, and I've got. It's not even that many, really. It's about 25,000 views on a it's a clip that I've clipped from one of the podcasts that I did where I was talking about how at peace I was when I was on tour in amongst all the chaos. So in
Yeah.
amongst all the chaos of your day-to-day life, you go out on tour, you look up at the stars with no light pollution, and you've never been so at peace with yourself
Yeah.
and everything around you. You're like, how am I in a war zone? This is so peaceful,
Hmm.
basically.
I've seen that
Yeah,
because
and I clipped it up and I made it quite a decent post, and I put it out just before Remembrance, so it was good timing by me because obviously everyone's very military orientated then.
yeah,
And I was like, oh fucking hell, yeah. I've had quite a bit of engagement from people that have been on different tours. They've obviously liked it, and it's like it's annoying in a way that I've had so many brilliant guests on the podcast that doesn't get the engagement because
yeah,
it's certain times of the year and whatnot. It's like
yeah,
just go back through it. And it's even like
yeah,
even back down to the they shot their own body armor, the fucking Battle of Bastion. And I'm like, well, watch this fucking podcast and you'll understand what the Battle of Bastion was.
hmm hmm
Nah, I won't bother doing that.
No,
It's like
people won't though.
it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, people just like what if I can take on
It
and
must
listen
be
to what they want
difficult.
in it.
It must be difficult for yourself in the industry that you're in now. I know you've got a very niche market with how you do your training, but in the oversaturated market that is the fitness
It's a
industry,
it's a nightmare.
it's got to be a
Just for the
nightmare.
fact, just for the fact that, like we spoke about earlier, like everything's like the here and now. Everything.
Yeah.
Like I speak about this a lot, but it's like everybody knows what what they're buying or what they're looking into is utter shit. It is bat wank, but
Yeah.
they'll buy it anyway because
Oh
they
yeah.
want that fix. They want that fix. It's like they'll take them pills, they'll take that supplement because he says it's going to work, even though there's countless people online who
I
say
genuinely
that's useless.
I had this
It's like this is what
discussion
works,
in a comment section because I like to
as
comment.
we do,
I
as we
like to
do.
comment every now and then, and as you know, and as everybody else knows, I'm a bit of a gobshite, and I also think I'm right most of the time when I'm probably not. But it was on a it was on it was on a fitness influencers page about bulking and cutting, basically, and she was going on about how difficult it is as a woman when you're bulking and you're going into the stage because you've put on weight and blah 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 blah. And I was like, this is all well and good, but that's not really what your page is about, is it? It's your as I said earlier, you're basically an OnlyFans model. You're in your fucking you're selling your ass. That's what you're doing. And
Yeah,
some bloke popped up and was like, well, 99.9% of all fitness influencers do graft. I went, I haven't said they don't graft because obviously you graft to get that body. That's no one is saying that is genetically well done. Mazel tov to you. No one's saying that you're not grafting, but that's not what she's selling.
mhm.
She's not selling her fitness programs and things like that. She's selling her ass on the fucking online. That's what you're selling.
Yeah,
And there was another one as well. It was a former two-time Mr. Olympia, right? And he was saying that deadlifts and clean and presses are no good for physical performance. And I was like, okay, right, here we go. Of course they are, though. But everybody in the comment section was, how dare you say that this guy's talking bollocks? He's a two-time Mr. Olympia. And it's like, yes, he is. And what is Mr.
mhm.
Olympia? It's a pageant. It's basically he's showing off how perfectly his body is, how perfectly defined his body is. Yes, he is top dog at
Yeah,
training to look good on stage.
yeah. It's a pageant of ill health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of like
and also he takes all the Mexican
how to
supplements.
starve yourself,
Yeah,
inject chemicals,
yeah.
and lift some weights to look a certain way
So
that people who
so
you stand up in front of like a bunch of fucking dogs at crafts
yes.
and get judged on by
Ah,
people sitting there who go,
finally.
"Oh, aren't you a proper little cockapoo?" You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you've got the perfect physique.
That couldn't
Fucking hell.
that couldn't be more of a
but
gay dog, though. By the way, a cockapoo. Um,
that aren't
but
most of them. I mean,
but
like
no, it is. That is spot
they're up there
on.
in their
It
smallest
is spot on.
pants. Like
And I basically put the comment on, and I basically said I'm not taking anything away from his knowledge on exercise because clearly he knows how to exercise because he does look good, but he looks good for a
but
reason.
then you could argue the fact, does he have any fucking knowledge in exercise? Because he's probably got a coach that tells him what to do, and he does it
Oh
to the
yeah,
letter. He just lifts the rep range, lifts the weights, eats what he gets told to eat to look a certain way. Probably has fuck all knowledge of how he got there,
yeah.
but his
That's another
coach has
good
got
point. Yeah,
knowledge. But then he'll sell a program to go look like me, but his program's shite because his coach gave him all the knowledge, knew what he did, which
he's
is most like most people in the fitness industry. They are
yeah,
coached and they get to a point. Like there's guys that we serve with Tommo that who were really fit but don't know why they're fit. They're just fit
no,
guys.
yeah,
I got here, and then you go, "Oh, I ran a marathon in 2 hours. I'll sell you my program that I did, and you could just make it up, and people would buy that program."
yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
And
Same as bodybuilding. This is what I
also
do.
it's I remember reading a quote somewhere, and it was about fitness, and it was like, yeah, you might have a six pack, but real strength is in your chest and shoulders. Skinny guys have six packs, and it was like, oh, I actually I sort of agree with that because you don't. And
It's
what
just
was the
body
other
fat,
thing I
mate.
watched? I watched World's Strongest Man over New Year's, and I was like, there's some fucking strength there. But fuck me, are they unfit, really?
Mate, 100%. I wrote an email about it years ago about the strongest man. Hats off to him, the strongest man. But it's
Yeah,
like
100%. They
I
can
always
lift.
look at like,
They lift incredible weights. Fair play.
yes, they're strong. But like we look at it and we go, so like the thing that the way that I would want to train with my guys, I mean, instead of going back to the point about being capable,
Yeah,
it's like the capability and the strength and like the training comes from like the background that we've had. It's like because when you look at it, when the shit hits the fan and you get sent to Afghanistan, they don't go knocking on the fucking Stoltman's door and saying you're going, fellas. They send over the most capable troops
yeah,
in the UK who you could say Tutu, SBS, the military. They train a certain way to do a job, and they're capable. They're fit guys. They don't. They don't lift cars. They
no.
don't fucking. They don't fucking. They don't run 2 minute miles. But they're in between of
Yeah,
everything. Do you know what I mean? Because they have to be.
they do it
And
all.
like it's
Yeah,
capable. And like, and that's what's gave me, like, what's gave me the whole like platform of the way I want to train with people, like your brother as well. It's like being capable of yourself, of what you can do and what and the things that you can achieve. Like it's like a showcase of go to the
yeah,
gym, do something, see what you're capable of, go and find out what you can do. Don't
yeah.
listen to other people
My,
what
my
you
old
could do.
man, my old man i- is very knowledgeable well, he was a PTI for however many years and a PJI, and he carried on his fitness journey, you could say. Probably not now because he loved to drink too much. But anyway, he always said to me when you could probably beat 99% of people within a sports activity. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he went, they may be really fucking good. He went, they may be world beaters, but eventually they will get tired and won't be able to perform. He went, but because you've got that military background and you've also got your sports background, your personal training background, eventually you will be able to beat them at that sport because you can go for longer. And I was like, I never thought about that. He went, you look at darts players. That's what he used. He went, for example, he went, they could throw those darts and beat you in every set, in every game for however long. Eventually, they will get tired, but you have got that bit of whatever in your head
Yeah.
that will just make you go that fucking bit longer. They will be knackered, and eventually it will slip.
It's like we said right back at the start, mate. Like on basic when we were both on basic training, we both had the mindset that if I fucking drop out or fail here, I'm not going back.
Yeah,
But I made sure that I didn't drop out or fail.
yeah.
Do you know what I
There
mean?
was no way I
Like
was
same as they
failing.
did.
I still remember.
You went through an injury.
Yeah, I
I
still
was just
remember
like,
there was.
I'm
I
not going
had the
home.
injury, but there was another thing that always stuck in my mind, and it was when they when they discovered. I basically put it on a few of my things. I'm dyslexic, and that's a thing. And they wanted to know, did I want education? And I remember sitting in a conversation with Corporal Coop, and I can't remember who the other corporal was, and they went, Tommo, do you want education? I went, what do you mean, do I want education? And they went, to get to get you through the course. And I went, but what do you mean, do I want education? I've already done my education, that's why I'm here. And they were like, well, maths, English, science. I went, I've passed them. I did them at college. There's a reason why I did an extra year at college, was so that I had the qualifications to join the Air Force. What do you mean, do I want to do education? That was literally how I was talking. They went, well, you get recourse and you do your education phase and then you come back onto a course. I went, so I get recoursed to do the stuff that I've already done. Yeah. Well, no, then. Well, you'll
Mhm.
get your extra time in your exams. What do I need extra time for? If I can't do the subject, I don't need extra time because if I'm that this sounds horrible. If I'm that much of a mong that I can't do the first aid course and I need extra time, then I shouldn't be doing the first aid course. And they were like, they literally looked at me as go, that's it. It felt as though now looking back, it's like, oh, he knew then that you need that sort of mindset.
Mhm.
I understand that some people joined up, and especially with what we did, we were in the infantry. A lot of people go, the Air Force have got infantry. Yes, we got the infantry. And some people didn't have certain qualifications, so they needed the education. I had it all. I made sure that I had it all before I joined up. So why would I need to go back?
Mhm.
Well, so I can have 10 minutes extra on an exam. No, you're all right.
Yeah.
If I fail the exam, then I've failed myself. At the end of the day,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was always my
But
thing.
you didn't do too bad though. You passed the sixth course, quite a hard course.
That is a fucking
You
hard
passed.
course.
I mean, I passed the sixth course as well.
Hey,
But
hey.
I remember it being fucking pretty nails though, because it was stuff that was
Oh, I did
like,
the I did the
for
I did the
instance,
Bowman one.
I'll put it out there. I naturally passed the sniper course first time, and it was natural to me.
Mm.
Sixth course, fucking hell, like way beyond
Oh,
me, like
I never I
wavelengths and frequency, and I was like, wow.
I'm gonna thank someone here who I never thought I would thank, and that was McCall. So it was between four or five of us to go on the first FT1 for the Lance Jack, and I got dicked to go on advanced signals because apparently I really enjoyed signals. That wasn't the case, but anyway, um, so I did the Bowman, the standard Bowman course that everyone else did, and then I was on the flights. I was just normal bod really, and then I got to a flight to go towards Kandahar. Excuse me. And they were like, "Oh right, some courses are coming up. You got the FT1 for the new Lance Jacks." And I was, "Oh, well, I'm probably one of the top of the list here. I'd like to think so." And it was between four of us. McCall and Mike Hampton ended up going. Fair
He's
enough.
an officer now.
He is. Good lad, Hammy. He's a fucking good lad. Genuinely good lad and fucking brilliant at his job as well as an alpha. Um,
Yeah,
McCall, on the other hand, he can go fucking eat a dick because he was the one that said to fucking Stoney Perio Stone. He told Stoney that
head of stone. Yeah, yeah.
I fucking love comms. that's the furthest away that I've ever been from anything was comms, and then all of a sudden I got put on this advanced signalers course, which I was fucking smashed, by the way. I even had to help a couple of sergeants from 63 Squadron get through it, just so you know, because that's how good I fucking am at it. Um, and I just happened to be quite natural at it, and I don't understand where that came from. But similar to you with sniping, I was good at that, but I was also good at fucking normal soldiering. By the way, people, I was actually quite a handy fucking rifleman. I was fucking
We were classed as above average.
yeah. I was quite
I
handy.
beg to
I was quite handy, especially as a lead light pair. I was fucking shit hot. Um, but it is what it is, and I just happen to be really
Do you think is it, do you think that's what gave you the thing for podcasting,
quite possibly.
the comms part?
But it's weird
Did
because
you have what? So good. So like obviously, like, I've just been thinking this, but what gave you the whole
for the
podcast?
for the podcast.
That's what I want. That's what I want.
So
That's what I want to lean. Like obviously, so
yeah,
for
no,
instance,
no,
me,
that's
you
a
just said
fuck.
that I
That's a
wanted to lean
fucking
towards
Donny.
fitness.
That's a fucking good question because
What made you?
I spoke with a bloke, right, and I spoke about him on here a few times, which is Mr. Al McGregor, who did the inner armor course that helped my fucking noggin. He genuinely helped my noggin, and he said to me, he went, "Tommo, you're a natural introvert," and I was like, "I think everybody and their dog will fucking disagree with you there." He went, "No, you are." He went, "You put a front in front of everyone, but naturally you will step away and go into your shell." And I was like, could be right, could be right. But with the podcast itself, so I was struggling mentally, and me and my brother have always spoke about different podcasts that we listen to, whether it was Joe Rogan, the fucking standard, the fighter and the kid, things like that. And my brother has always said I would naturally be quite good at that because I like to when considering I'm a natural introvert, but once you get me going, I can hold a conversation for hours as we're fucking proving.
Yeah.
And he said you'd be good at it. He went try it, and back in the fourth of March, 2019, when I first hit record, it was a shit app called Podbean that I downloaded, and I just fucking purged myself on the fucking world and just rattled off. And I was like, oh, I've naturally just felt better.
Mhm.
And it's that sort of, I then started just doing it on my own. And even as a kid, I still remember now, even as a kid, I used to enjoy my own company and just talking to myself. That sounds
Mhm.
fucking weird to some people.
I know.
But
Not to
I,
me.
I
No,
could sit
I
and
get
play
it.
with I could sit and
Yeah.
play with fucking the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and fucking GI Joe for fucking hours, just making up
Mhm.
scenarios and whatnot. So just chatting with myself was quite natural, and then it was like, oh, I need to progress the podcast. I need to get someone on to talk to,
Yeah.
and then I did, and I was like, this is addictive, but
Mhm.
also this is helping my mental health no end because I even said to my missus, now, when I finish a podcast and I go into the house, I'm on a high. I'm so buzzing
Mhm.
because I'm like, that was fucking brilliant. There's
Yeah.
only been one fucking podcast where it's been deleted and not released. I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah. I think you text me.
You fucking ex-marine, and that's all I'm going to say. Um, and it was just hot. It was hard work. And it
Yeah.
was it was a lot of me trying to get a bit of banter from a Marine. It's like, come on, give me banter because I'm a fucking RAF Red gunner. You're a Marine. Give me some banter. Give me something. You're not going to. Cool. How is your fight camp going? There's another little clue. How's your fight camp going? Right, cool. You're not really going to give me much there. Then my brother jumped on because my brother used to come on to every now and then. He used to join in
Hmm.
some of the podcasts, and we were like, we used to have weird sort of superstitions when we played sport.
Hmm.
Like he would only get dressed right leg first for football, and then left leg. Otherwise, if he did it wrong and he didn't feel like he could play a decent game of football, little superstitions, and it was weird. And he was like,
Yeah.
"Do you have any superstitions?" And he was just like, "Nah." And he was like, "Oh, right, cool." Um, oh well, good luck with your next fight. See you
Yeah. Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
But it was there was, but yeah, natural.
Is even like I met my message you earlier and said, first time I've been doing something like this, nervous as fuck.
No,
And you're like,
it was
once you get
nothing
chatting,
because I'd
oh,
noticed
cool.
he's
Totally.
done a few he done a few podcasts. He even did little things like he was on UFC Tough Enough. Is it Tough Enough? Tough. He was on that.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not like you've got no media training or anything. It
Yeah.
was just
Yeah. Yeah.
very awkward, and I was like, I've had some fucking brilliant UFC fighters on that are just regular blokes that just want to have a chat.
Hmm.
And then there's this guy that I thought, because he's got a military background, we'd have a bit of banter. And
Yeah.
it was literally nothing. And I was like, oh,
Nothing.
you're either one of those sort of fucking uber keen SFSG types that are still stuck, that have nothing, that are just focused, which I can understand because, but
Hmm.
also you're not in the military. You're give me something, fucking hell.
Yeah.
But there was
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And yeah, that was the only one that had never been released. Um, but other than that, it just feels natural to
Hmm.
have a conversation.
Yeah. Totally.
And
Totally.
the
Like I say,
some of
I
the
was nervous about coming to do this today, but
yeah, of course.
do you know what I mean?
But
Like,
as I said
love
to
it.
you,
Loved it. It's like
everyone's
natural, just
nervous
like you're chatty,
until
I'm chatty.
everyone's nervous until you hit that record button, and then you start talking. So you do the standard. Donny, nice to meet you. Welcome to the Ground Zero podcast. Blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as you start having a chat, you forget that it's been recorded.
Yeah.
That's the best thing. And I've had some really good ones with some of the lads that have come into the podcast, actually in the podcast. And at the beginning, they're
Hmm.
very stiff and in the chair, and then you get a few whiskies in them and a few beers, and they forget that there's fucking lights everywhere, and then well, as it was, you're then just four lads in a shed
Chatting shit.
having a chat about fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're the best. They are the best ones.
Yeah. Totally. I can
I've
get
had
that.
some great
Totally.
podcast guests on. The best ones are just the lads. Like this
Hmm.
one now. This is I could literally talk to you, Donny. I'm sure. What time is it now? It's
It's
fucking
getting late now. Yeah.
it's nearly 9 o'clock. So it's almost 2 hours in, and I feel like
Maybe scratch surface, mate. Like, but
we could still talk for
even with
hours.
that, totally. Even with that, I'd love to come on again. Now I've done it. It's like
Oh,
I could come back
you'll
on.
definitely come on again, Donny.
Like,
That's a fact. I'll get you on
definitely.
with.
Like when it was like my head's been going all day as of what we're going to talk about, where we're going to go with this, getting nervous about what's
Yeah,
direction. But then tonight's been quite natural, and I'm
yeah.
actually not even bothered that. Okay, we've reminisced a lot about military. We've talked a bit about fitness. We've reminisced about military, and I'm like, do you know what? I'm actually happy the way it's went. It's been more of a natural
Oh
chat
yeah.
than
That's
gone
how I
a,
want it to
gone a
be, and
set structure and direction of like,
that's how I
oh
think most podcasts should be. You can tell the ones that have got their questions already lined up, and you're like, oh, that's not natural. One of the ones that
yeah,
I watch at the minute, and I love Joe Rogan. He's the fucking goat. I haven't watched much of Joe recently, but there's a football one, the overlap with Gary Neville, Roy Keane,
I,
and all that.
I watched bits of it. Yeah, man.
Do you know what? I love the fact. that it's actually quite natural and they give each other shit all the time. Like fucking Jamie
Yeah.
Carragher will have a go at fucking Gary Neville because all they have is fucking Manchester
Do
United.
do you know what? Do you know what I got into for that one was the Ricky Gervais one recently.
Yes, how
So I'm
good
a
was
big, I'm
that?
a big Rick, I'm a big Ricky fan.
Oh,
So I thought
who
I'll
is
watch
not a
it.
big
I'll
Ricky
watch it.
fan?
A lot of people aren't though. I fucking love it. His humor is just like my street.
Do
But
you
when
know
he came
what?
on,
I
but
say
then
things
it's a bit like
now.
what it's a bit like what we're doing. It's a bit like what we're doing tonight. It's like
Yeah,
he didn't talk a lot about comedy. He
no,
was just
he was
chatting,
there,
being
just
funny,
chatting.
just there.
And do you know what?
And it's like,
It's funny with Ricky Gervais because I've been a Ricky Gervais fan since fucking day dot, since the fucking Office, since before the Office, since
oh, the
extras.
office is like probably a massive military, right?
Oh yeah, and then
Like
onwards
everyone.
since his fucking first stand-ups, Animals, Politics, Fame,
Do you
etc.
want to know something? Just saying that when we were in snipers, we used to all like Connors and stuff. We used to always quote Ricky Gervais
Oh,
stand up every
I
day. We'd be like,
I still do it now,
Lions,
right? I do
Lions.
it now, right? I do it now, and sometimes it will be me speaking, but my missus go, "Is that a Ricky Gervais quote?" And I'm like, "No, that's me." But then I'll do, "It's me" in a high pitched voice,
It's
and
me.
she's like,
I do. I do exactly the same. It's like, oh,
"Lost it." Oh,
still
he's
there.
only gone and lost his earphones.
That's right.
I've still got you though.
The batteries died. The batteries died. But yeah, I do the same thing where it's like I'll do the Ricky Gervais like the it's me, Lions. What? And you what? It's like I would
Yes,
just cut into
yes.
Ricky. I would cut into Ricky just because that is it. It's just that the
It's
way he
it's
is. It's
it.
like
But he's so for a superstar, and the fact that he takes the piss out of himself for being a superstar, it's like, oh, you're coming to see me. Obviously, you're seeing me. I'm fucking Ricky Gervais. But
yeah,
he's also, you can tell that he's grown up as a down to earth bloke that's now got
yeah.
money.
But someone who's just like so sarcastic, so
Oh,
can be total like out
it
there.
is literally me.
He's pretty humble as well though.
Yeah,
Like he does a lot for charity. He's a good
yeah.
guy. You know what I mean?
He does loads for cancer, but they're probably dead now, so it doesn't matter.
That's
but but no, he's oh mate, there's so much that I do that I don't realise that I'm doing, or the fact that I can quote pretty much The Office from word to word.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's oh,
It's like when I first joined it, everything was Bo Selector, and we went from Bo Selector
probably
into the
cancelled now,
Office.
both elected.
It was like but it was like but that's what like said is like it's the two most like out there sort of comedy shows at the time. Bo Selector, The Office. It was
The
like
funniest thing about The
total
Office.
different, total different humor, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, and the funniest thing about The Office for me was I remember watching. I remember my brother again. My brother, he's getting mentioned a lot in this. He sort of went, have a watch of this, mate. It's fucking brilliant." And I watched it and I thought it was hilarious. And I remember watching it with my dad, right? And my dad genuinely thought it was a documentary about a fucking paper mill. And I was like, and me and my mum were watching it with him, and we were fucking pissing ourselves just because how awkward it is and how awkward he is
Yeah,
as a boss, as David Brent. He's awkward as a boss. My dad was like, "It's not bloody funny. It's just a fucking weird bloke." And I'm like, "Dad, that's the point. It's the point. It's a comedy." And he was like, "Is it?" And I was like, "It's not real. It's not a real. He's not a real guy." Oh, but
but I like how
There's
in the
one bloke that
overlap how
fucking annoys me, right? And but Chris, my buddy down the road, he thinks he's all right, but there's the impersonator. He's been on Talk Sport a couple of times,
I've seen him. I used to follow him lately.
he's supposed to be David Brent, and I'm like, but he's not. He's not good. In my opinion, he's not a good
Yeah,
David Brent. He's and to quote Ricky Gervais, just a fat guy with a goatee. He's just a fat guy.
as I was saying on the overlap when he talked about when they asked him to like have a different hairstyle and whatever, and he was like, "No, I just want to be me
Mm,
and just be David," and like because it comes back to everything, is Because he's so natural with it, and it's him,
yeah,
and he's
just
just like
naturally funny.
quote. he's quoting people that he says that he's met. David Brent's made up of 4 or 5 people he met in his life,
Yeah.
but just because he's natural with it, like even like Ricky Gervais mannerisms, he does the whole look at the camera,
Yeah.
and like it's him doing it.
There's some brilliant things about Ricky Gervais himself. So he's got that sort of wow factor about him as a person that other directors and things take things from him. So The In-Betweeners is based on all different sides of Ricky Gervais. So if you
Right.
watch The In-Betweeners and how sarcastic they are and how different each character is, but you can also pinpoint different bits and you're like, well, that sounds like Ricky Gervais. That's because the director of The In-Betweeners is good mates with Ricky Gervais.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically
Okay.
took his personality and put it into these four fucking teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you see Will and you're like, well, that's very Ricky Gervais esque, and then you're like, the only one that I sort of go probably not would be fucking Neil, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, and there's just so much, and the best thing that he's done recently, obviously Afterlife,
Oh, amazing,
mate.
amazing
I,
program.
I can't even put into words how much I laughed and also cried
Yeah.
during that. And
It's the
I
only.
know a
It's the
lot of
only.
toxic masculinity. You can't cry. There's a bit right, and my missus always picks me up on it. Even if I rewatch it now, she'll go, "You're thinking about me." There's a bit where she's obviously riddled with cancer and she shaved her head, and he makes a joke, and he goes, "Oh, you're my little Kojo or whatever it is about her head," and then he goes, "But you're still fucking beautiful." that that I literally was crying. And my missus turned around to me and she went, "You're picturing me with cancer, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yes, because that's exactly how I would treat you.
Yeah.
Because because I love you that much, but I will also take the piss out of you because you've got cancer."
I think. I
and,
think. I think it's
and
the
a lot of
only.
people go, "You can't take the piss out of someone with cancer." Of course you can.
I think it's the only TV series, isn't it, that he captures all the emotions and like
Oh,
and
mate.
and like even in maybe one scene, he can get you like, oh, and
Yeah.
it's like
You could be laughing the whole time through it, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, fucking hell!"
I
There's a
see. I
bit,
see a lot of myself. I see a lot of myself
there's
in
a
it.
little bit where he's spreading his dad's ashes in the pub, and
You
the bloke
can't.
comes over and he throws it in his face, and he goes, "You can't do that," and he goes, "Well, I hope it was his fucking you cock, you cunt," and I'm like, "That's brilliant."
There's so many good. There's so many good. We can go on all right with that again, mate. But like he, the way he is like the way I am. I love
Yeah,
the whole like his like the whole. He does. It's a bit of
everything.
Brent in there as well.
Yeah,
When my favorite scene, my favorite scene in The Office, go back to that, is like when not my favorite scene, but one of my favorites when he does the blind dating agency and he goes into the pub
yes.
to meet her, and the guy goes to him, so how do you know which one you meet? And he goes, she'll be wearing a pink scarf, and he turns around and looks, and she comes
Oh, for
walking in, and he
fuck's sake!
goes, for fuck's for fuck's sake.
I tell you
It's
what,
like
it's very underrated as well.
that is like the things I would do in normal life. I'd
Yeah,
look around the
of
gym and I'll
course it
go,
is.
oh, for fuck's sake,
Yeah,
fuck is this?
we've all been
Look at
there.
this
We've
cunt.
all been there.
And then when he's
It's
sitting at
another.
the table and afterwards, he goes, listen to that snort, that spunk snorting cunt
Oh,
fucking show.
yes, because I've done that before with my missus, and we've been at a fucking bar because I've got, as every fucking human should have. I don't like the sound of people chewing food. So if I can hear you chewing, it's gonna cause me some sort of anxiety that I'm gonna have an outburst. And the biggest culprit is my mum, and I've told her before, stop fucking chewing so loud because it's doing my head in. And the other one was my brother-in-law, where I told him he was an animal, but also on basic training. There was a bloke that I served with. He was a Kenyan lad called William Wanburu.
One Buru.
Yeah,
Great name.
and he loved to suck the chicken off a fucking bone, right?
Of
And he
course
would
they
do
did.
it like that. And I literally looked at him and I went, "You're a fucking animal. Shut the fuck up. Use a knife and fork or fuck off out of my presence because you're fucking doing my head in." And oh, it's my own fucking it's my own problems, but
Did he
shut the
pass
fuck
out?
up. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to.
Did he pass basic training, man?
He
Chance?
did, mate. He did. And he ended up on 63 Squadron. And then I believe now he is an officer and either an aircraft technician or an actual pilot. I can't remember.
It'd be good to know if he's
But he
still
also said
sucking
some
off the bone.
fucking stupid things, mate. We were once locked out of block, I think it was 73, which was when you got put into single man accommodation and they changed the code to the door.
Next door to the regiment
Yeah.
block.
Yeah. So they changed the code to the door, right? And we were all trying to get in to get to our rooms, obviously. And he came out with, if you don't know the code to the door, you can't get in. No shit. No shit. We're trying to get in, mate. If we don't know the code, clearly we can't get in.
Okay, now
Fuck me.
you sound like another great program, Face Tracker.
Phone jacker,
That's what I
mate.
went to there.
So
Can I interest you in some monies?
yeah. Chota bad. I'm from Nigeria. That's brilliant. Phone jacker genuinely gave me the confidence and also a bit of dialogue to copy, as I mentioned earlier, our famous warrant officer on 15 Squadron, Gary Eden, because he was Terry Tibbs.
He fucking hell. Yes, he fucking was Terry Tibbs. Gary Eden, Terry Tibbs. That's the
Talk to
first
me.
time I've heard that.
Go
And
Eden,
that
talk to
is
me.
suck to me.
Go out, have a beer, sure, but do not take drugs and do not put my squadron into disrepute, or I'll put my hand in your pocket.
Mate, fucking hell. That's good observation skills, that.
Mate, genuinely, me
Gary
and
Eden is
again
Terry
another
Tibbs.
guy that I mentioned earlier, Bill McKenzie. Um, I think I mentioned him earlier. Anyway,
Quiet
we
Bill
we
McKenzie.
had we had a Gary Eden off during one of the squadron piss ups where Gary himself was in the middle, and we had to do impressions of Gary Eden, and whoever won obviously won, and the other had to do a forfeit. He was doing his Gary Eden impression. I was going, well, you can't just do a normal Gary Eden impression. You gotta just go outside the box. You gotta just make it up as you go along. You can do all his normal things like put my hand in your pocket. And he went, to be fair to him, he was brilliant. And the worst one was, right,
Was
genuine.
Gary Eden himself.
Gary Eden himself was brilliant, right? Because he took it all in banter. I definitely won. But he was on my table at Ian Ramsey's wedding. And I was out then. I was out fucking being a proper civvy. And he still remembered me from 15, obviously. And I was sat on the table with him. And he went, Tommo. I was like, yes. And just pure instinct, yes, sir. And he went, don't call me sir, first start. I've told my missus that you could do an impression of me. Can you do it at a table right now? And I was like, fucking hell. I was like, at the wedding? He was like, yeah, do the impression of me at the wedding. It's fun.
I want to sell you a car.
But I was like, but he said to me later on in the night, and he went, it's the biggest praise of admiration that someone will
Oh,
take,
totally.
that it would take the piss out of you because you're obviously doing something right that they want to take the piss out. And I was like, yeah, you got a point, because all the other warrant officers I had afterwards there was nothing that you could like focus on. And
Yeah.
I still call him sir now. He will write something on Facebook, and I'll comment on it, and then or I'll say something like, "Oh, thanks, sir." No, or he'll like something that I've done. I'll go, "Oh, thanks, sir," and he's like, "Stop calling
Yeah.
me sir." I'm like, "I can't help it. You're the best warrant officer I have ever had.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I don't remember anyone else,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're Gary fucking
He
Eden,
was good. Yeah, he was good.
and he's a fight. Well, he's a twin as well, isn't he? Or was
Yeah,
a twin?
yeah.
Because his brother
His
passed
bro-
away,
oh, really?
unfortunately. Yeah, apparently, yeah, his brother passed away.
I only met his brother. I only met his brother a couple of times. Like I can't remember if it was at Hornington or somewhere else,
Because
and
he was the
because
war
we're very
officer in
similar.
Cyprus, wasn't he? His brother, I'm pretty sure.
That's that what it was. Going back on decompression,
Yeah.
his brother met us. That's right. I remember meeting him. Had some decompressions in Cyprus.
Oh,
Jesus, that's
mate,
other story.
that is a whole nother fucking issue. Well, obviously they're not doing it now, but that's not decompression.
No, piss
We,
up.
I think we've all spoke about. I think I've spoken about it a few times with. So I've had a couple of paras and a couple of Marines on here as well, and it's like we're all we're all the same. That's not decompression. That is a piss up. Yes, you only get 2 beers, but definitely you get more alcohol.
Oh,
I
you get more than
remember
two.
I remember coming back from Kandahar and I had a fucking shower gel bottle full of Jack Daniels that was sent out to me by my missus. I was like, so we've got fucking alcohol. It's like, and you'll probably agree with me on this, Donny, because you've done a number of tours yourself. You come back, you have your day and night decompression, then you get home and they're like, right, there you go. We'll see you in
That's
a
it. Yeah,
couple of
yeah.
we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
It's in eight
See me in a
weeks.
couple of weeks. I'm fucking mental right now.
That was Ricky. So Ricky Gervais there. I'm fucking mental, you know.
I am literally mental. I
I'm
get out of
fucking
my
sending
car and
me
I'm doing
home.
fives and twenties, getting out of my car going fucking mind or at least keep right. And I know it's brilliant at the time, right? We get home, we can go and chill out, but get home
Yeah,
and
it's
then
not. It's not.
do
Yeah, yeah,
do
yeah. It
do a
was.
couple of weeks work or work, decompress us, do some debriefs or whatever, and then go right. Go and have 3 weeks off. Cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can have 3 weeks off now. I remember getting home
yeah.
after Iraq. I got home and I stayed with my missus for pretty much the whole of my time off, and she was in Kent,
Mm.
obviously, but she was obviously going to work. Her brothers were going to school. Her parents were going to work. I was basically sat in the house on my own. I remember just getting pissed out of my fucking head because I didn't know what to do, watching the Ashes. My missus would come home from work with a hairdresser. She'd come home from the salon and go, "How's your day been?" And I'll be like, I'm fucking steaming right now." Why? What have you been doing? I've been watching the Ashes. You don't like cricket? Well, I can create drinking
Do
games.
that.
I can create drinking games with fucking every six. I can have a fucking shot. And then she'd be like, "Oh, I saw you walking past the shop a couple of times." Yeah, because I run out of fucking beer. It's a very long game. But I had nothing
Totally,
else to
totally.
do. I literally had nothing else to do.
There wasn't anything else to do.
And there was
And
nothing
another
else
thing.
that would give you
And
and as much or as less action as the RAF Reg had in certain tours, there's nothing like going, right, you're out on patrol now.
Mhm,
Whether it's
mhm.
a Tesserall patrol or a
But
foot patrol or a fucking being attached to the snipers or whatever, you've got a task in that you've been looking forward to all day or all night and you're going into the day. That's your task.
yeah,
You get
there's
home
another
and you're
point in
like,
what you're saying there about when you're back home. You used to come home with, well, to me it was at the time as well, but you used to come home with some ridiculous amounts of money
oh yeah,
that you've saved, and it's just you've got nothing to do for 6 to 8 weeks, and you've got shit tons in the
you'd
bank.
have some dickheads that would go and buy a fucking Mustang or something. I had my tour bonus and all the fucking wages that I earned, and it was just sat there. I remember going to the bank and looking at it and going, "Oh, that's fucking nice." I ended up buying a fucking engagement ring. Don't get me wrong, but I looked at it and I was like, the most extravagant thing I bought, and I've still got it upstairs in my drawer upstairs, was a watch, and it was a rotary watch that was about £350. And it wasn't fucking all singing and all dancing. It was a nice all black watch, nice interior on the watch. Doesn't work now, unfortunately, because it fucking needs a new battery or whatever. But I remember buying it, and it genuinely was about 350 to £400. I can't remember the proper total, and I remember being begrudged because I was like, "That's a fucking lot of money to spend on a watch." But I was like, "That's a nice watch." It wasn't even that much. There's lads coming back with a fucking Mustang, and they're a fucking LAC, and it's like, you guys, why are you buying that? And they're like, well, I've got a tour bonus. Well, yeah, but you haven't bought the car outright, have you, you fucking idiot? Oh, well, it
Oh,
looks good. It looks
I
good.
I put an £8,000 down on deposit.
Yeah.
I get out.
Fuck, mate.
But
It's some fucking morons, mate.
mate, I'm gonna have to like be the party pooper and say I need to like
Mate, genuinely, I could talk to you for
but we've
hours.
been like
But
2.5 hours nearly.
I definitely get it. And I'll get you back on with Little Brown himself.
Mate, we'll definitely keep in touch anyway.
Oh, definitely.
And
Oh no, I'm getting you back on.
I would 100% come back on, and like, 'cause there's so much more we could talk. Like, but I never went fully in depth for what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But it'd be good. It'd be good to get like I said, it'd be great to get your brother on.
Oh,
And
definitely.
like get into his thoughts, tap in, because I think we're all quite similar anyway.
Yeah,
You know what I
definitely.
mean?
Definitely.
And like share some shit.
But
And I say
Donnie,
if there's any like RAF Reg guys who've stuck it out and listened this far and they need some help with training, bang, get onto my
get
page.
fucking Donnie a fucking text. Sort it out. But nah. Cheers for coming on, mate. And
Yes, mate, we've got so much more we could talk about as
oh,
well.
definitely. We could go forever. But
We could go.
it is fucking 9:15. That's fucking mental. That's fucking
That is mental.
2.25 hours.
You might have to edit little bits here.
Oh no, there's no editing. There'll be one edit where it fucking cut out for a minute, but that's
Wait,
it.
yeah.
But nah, cheers, mate, and I'll catch you in a bit.
Mate, it's been a pleasure.
You stay safe.
You see everybody. I'll speak to you
Catch you
later.
in a bit, mate.
Cheers now.
Hello. You're at the adverts, so don't turn off. Don't turn off because I've got some good stuff for you. First up, I'm going to talk about our sponsors. Kent CBD is our first sponsor. Now, CBD oil, as you know, has tremendous benefits, especially within mental health and physical health. Personally, I use it to help with my anxiety and my depression, but not only that, I also use it to help with the aches and pains of life in my joints, especially my ankles and my knees. But yeah, without CBD oil, I would have still been on my antidepressant tablets, which I'm no longer on. So, every cloud. And what we're going to do here at Granite Zero is we're going to give you 10% off everything from oil, muscle rub, jellies, bath salts, the lot. Yeah? Make sure you get in there. www.kentcbd.org. Put in the promo code GRANITE0 and get yourself 10% off. You are welcome. But also, if you're like me and you love a nice cup of coffee. Now, for me, I only drink one coffee, and that's Green Beret coffee. Now, I don't only drink it because it's out of this world fucking coffee, roast to order, grinded to whatever specific grind you want. But not only that, it's veteran owned and veteran run, which, hits me right in the feels. So make sure you check it out, Green Beret Coffee. Get yourself a nice cup of coffee. I drink it dark, just like my soul. Incredible stuff. And what I'm going to give for you, I'm going to give you 10% off. So once you get to the checkout, once you've got all your coffee, your products, your apparel, whatever you need, get to the checkout and put in the promo code GZPodcast10 and get yourself 10% off. Courtesy of the Granite Zero podcast. You are welcome. Now, that's enough of me talking about this stuff. Back to the regular scheduled show. Check it out!